the first one to drop. I wasn't the first one to drop the F.
Well, no one's dropping the F from here point on because we are
I saw
live.
it. I saw the banner. I saw the banner.
I didn't. I just hopped in. I hopped in and checked StreamYards and seen there was a link. So I was like, okay. And I got on there and then went to my bedroom and was getting changed because I just got home like 15, 20 minutes ago and seen on Twitter that I was like, okay. Good to know. That changes things. I was going to try to catch the IU game, but I'm like, nope, I got to pay attention.
I got to pay attention. So lots of stuff to talk about, as Tom was pointing out to me earlier on Twitter when when he asked me if we were holding this or not, and I was in the middle of making the damn stream, right? We got ourselves another. Oh, look at that, Jackson here.
Okay.
Oh, Jack's in there. Hey, Jack.
Jack.
How you doing, Jack?
Now,
What's happening, guys?
what's up, bub?
So we are live, Jack. If you read that,
Yeah, it just popped up.
okay. Now, so it is on YouTube, so we have to watch our language.
Now, this is where I would normally insert a joke, but no, I won't do that.
Yeah, right.
But yeah,
Now, you
this is
do,
pretty
sir.
much those of you who are watching on YouTube and have never seen one of our Patreon streams. This is pretty much what we do every Wednesday. We got Jack down here, who's a Colts fan. We got Tom, who is also a Colts fan, who's part of Patreon. And then we got to the far right of the screen is Matt, who is a Patriots fan, but
Yes, sir.
he's a reasonable Patriots
We don't
fan.
hold it against
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Yes.
too much.
We love him every week.
Yeah.
That's right.
And this is pretty much what we do. We all come in, hang out, voice chat, video chat, every Wednesday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just sit down, talk, chill, bring up topics, whatever we want to talk about, not just me or Loyalist here, but anyone in here, whatever topic comes up, we sit here and we talk up. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the Colts today.
Oh,
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now
Where do you guys want to start?
let me let you know the secret. I have no idea what's happening with the Colts today. I have been fighting for a week with this silly cold, and I just didn't feel like doing anything today.
Okay, well, then you're going to be in for a lot of information because we all, me and Chuck and Tom, we know what happened.
So
Jack,
you
did
guys
see
are slotted in
the
at the fourth
pressers
pick,
from the
correct?
last 2 days?
Yeah, we have the fourth pick.
Yeah.
Jack,
Yes,
did you see the pressers from the last 2 days?
I haven't seen anything.
Okay, because
I
we
have
had
not
the
seen
Jeff
it.
Saturday press. We had the Jeff Saturday presser the day after, and then on Tuesday we had Chris Ballard, and he gave about 35, 40 minutes
Yeah,
of time. Yeah. Appreciate you. That we
Can
got Guy Creator and Sarah Mull. Glad you
Can I
guys
throw out an analogy?
Go ahead.
If both quarterbacks, Alabama quarterback goes, and Ohio State quarterback goes, would you guys be willing to go out and maybe get that great offensive tackle from North? I think he's Northwestern. That really good one. I know you guys haven't done any draft digging into the draft, but I hear he's really good. He's left tackle. He's really good, and then get a good game managing quarterback, maybe a Gardner Minshew, someone like that. Poke around something like that. So a really good quarterback. You guys determine who it is, who it might be, but would you guys be willing to do something like that to beef up your team? Maybe even pull back just a tad bit, get another second round draft pick, something like that, to like stabilize the team a bit better, and because those two quarterbacks are gone, and start building the team and get a good game managing quarterback. Would you guys be up for that?
Tom, you want to get that one first? Who wants to take it?
I think there if that was the case, if we traded down from the fourth pick there would be a riot in Indianapolis.
So I know I'm just throwing out things, but if you stay there, you get the offensive tackle, something like that, or defense, whatever it may be. Is that something you guys are looking to do? Is build?
I don't think that there would be a riot. Maybe at first he'd trade down, and there'd be a lot of fans going.
I'm just like one pick.
Here comes
I'm
the
like
old
one
Ballard.
pick.
Right.
I don't mean like 5-6 picks. I'm like one pick. I'm just like.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, heck, if he trades down to 10, and gets an extra second or 2 extra seconds or something like that, or maybe a first next year, that would be reasonable if he's able to grab a guy like with the 10th pick that is high upside. Let's say Levis falls to 10, he grabs him at 10 or something like that.
Correct. Correct.
That I think would probably go over well with the Indianapolis Colts fan base, but it depends upon the situation. You know what I mean?
Yes. So, of course. I was just looking for a scenario. If a scenario happened,
I don't think he has any intention whatsoever of getting a left tackle in the first round.
You don't think he's looking at that tackle?
He was incredibly high
on a quarterback. You saw it. I didn't. You saw it. I didn't.
On how his left tackle
Bernard Ryman
performed over the last 8 weeks. How he got getting better and better and better. So I don't think he may pick a left tackle in this draft. I just don't see him any chance in hell of him doing it in the first round.
All right. Good to know, though. Good to know.
Say, Jack, about Matt's question, because I got a lot.
I think that we got to get a quarterback. I mean, we've got to get a young quarterback, and I really think there's a scenario where, Lawrence, you brought this up earlier. If we were to somehow, some way, be able to go out and get Lamar Jackson, which
I know Brandon's like that.
I'm telling you, it could be possible. The way they just paid Roquan Smith $100 million. So I don't think they have any intention this year of trying to get Lamar paid under contract.
No,
and
they do not.
I know they can tag him, but if he comes
back, not for that money.
If he comes back and says he wants,
you think they'll tag him at
$48 million. $48 million is the tag.
I mean, what are they going to do?
But isn't he asking for 50 or 55? Isn't he asking for some ridiculous?
I think he'll sign that $48 million for 1 year. I would.
My thing is, I still think that you could even trade down a couple spots. Okay, I think there might be some good D-line talent. Maybe even a DH might drop down to you if you go down to 6 or 7. Okay, whatever you acquire in that trade, take that along with your second or third or whatever, and maybe even move back up midway through the first round. You might be able, you were saying if Levis was to fall, or if you go with Richardson, who probably would drop down there.
Probably mid.
It's not. Yeah,
I would take Richardson.
Ready to go week 1 is the only downside. And then you look at, okay, if you do that, then you've got to bring in a Jacoby Brissett or somebody. Plus, you've got all the money you got tied up with Matt Ryan and Nick Foles, depending on what they end up doing with their choices. It's like, how much do you invest in that quarterback?
Absolutely.
But I'll tell you right now, if you did that and you could get Anthony Richardson to a whole year and then his own full off season, and he's got to get reps. So he's got to get reps during training camp. He's got to get starter reps during, practices. I know not a lot because you still got a game plan, but I mean, he's just got to get reps anywhere he can and let this kid develop. I tell you what, though, I'm not trading very far back because I want to stay in the range where I can get a blue chip guy. If I do that, I still want to get a stud.
That's why I said, as far back as 10, but no further, because
you think you can get a blue chip
where you're going to get a blue chip dude.
You think you can get a blue chip at 10 without all the quarterbacks leaving?
Maybe. I think a blue chip somewhere. You know, I'm not necessarily saying a blue chip quarterback. I don't know if there's a blue chip quarterback in this draft.
No. The blue chip guy is going to be either your defensive end, or
absolutely. I think there absolutely could be. I haven't looked at the all 22 for a lot of the guys, but generally your blue chips will run anywhere between the first 10 to 12 picks of the draft. So, still, I mean, there's been times where certain blue chippers will drop all the way to say 15, because of an issue.
Yeah.
Like, they had a broken foot.
Oh, a red flag. Yeah,
like that,
maybe. I got you. Yeah.
I tell you what,
Wow.
I mark my words, because it happens every year. When it gets to combine time and these guys go in the underwear Olympics and are out there on Lucas Oil Field throwing it, I'm telling you, Richardson is going to blow people away. He's going to blow people he's supposedly, the man can throw it 60, 70 yards sitting down, and he runs a 4.3. So he's going to blow people away, and somebody is going to jump up and take him where he shouldn't be going, but somebody will do it. It happens every year.
If it was me and I had Richardson especially, that first year, I'm making a certain package of 4, 5, 6 plays where I'm getting this young man out there, like on an RPO where this is a strong R on the RPO, you know what I'm saying? Because this dude, he's a physical gift, and his legs, his legs are going to get him, what he needs, and stuff, just to get him on the field, just to get, just to get anything out there on game type field and stuff. And but me, honestly, I'm if I do that, that's real risky. That's where I'm like, I'd much rather just stay at 4 and give me Stroud or Levis. You know what I mean?
Yep. So Sarah has a good point, and it's the same thing that Gerard Powers said all year. That Jacoby played very, very well this year.
Yep.
Now, I don't want him as my starting quarterback, but he would be a great guy to have in the locker room with a young quarterback. To what I mean?
Yes.
That type of situation. So I get that. Or maybe just to be able, maybe he has to start for a year while a young quarterback is developing to get up to speed in the NFL. That's fine. And I know here's Shrayless, my boy, the biggest Ohio State fan there is in the nation. I'm sure that he wants to trade 4 first-round picks to Chicago to get C.J. Stroud.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait.
By the way, it's Levis. What's up, Scott S?
So let me ask you this. I know everybody I love Stroud. I think Stroud is I watched him play in that Georgia thing. I think he is thing. But there's going to be a lot of teams who are going to want this guy. Okay, so let's take another ulterior method. What if?
That's why I said,
would you guys take Stetson Bennett if he is one of the guys that is available?
What? Where at?
Oh, Stetson Bennett. If you guys could drop down and maybe take Stetson Bennett at a lower level, could you guys take Stetson Bennett? Is he in your wheelhouse at a lower draft pick, say at a 10 or a 15, something like that?
Oh no, I'm a hard no on that. I mean, we
basically. Okay. I just want to know what you guys feel about this.
This is just my take. Let these guys answer. But my reason is we basically have a Stetson Bennett and Sam Ellen. He's a little smaller, not as explosive, but he's still the mobile. Me personally, maybe a good backup quarterback. I don't see Bennett being a starter or a franchise.
My opinion on this draft when it comes to getting a quarterback. We have a guy already that I feel like is a long-term good backup quarterback. Then that's his ceiling. I don't want a guy whose ceiling is a long-term backup quarterback. I want a ceiling of a 10-year top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I don't think there's one in this draft like that is that. but there's a couple guys I think where their ceiling could reach that at some point, just
Got it.
not on the surface.
Okay, let me ask you this then. You're talking about Stetson Bennett. You look at Stetson Bennett, compare him to Bryce Young. Size-wise, weight, that stature, it's pretty much the same. Stetson Bennett is a 2-time national champion.
Correct.
Bryce Young won it 1 year. He was the Heisman. CJ Stroud hasn't won anything. I'm just saying, I know college is different. These guys look great behind, an Alabama line and a Ohio State line. They look fantastic. Right. Throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr., they look amazing. And when it comes to the NFL, they get here and it just doesn't come over to the NFL level. But
yeah,
I look at Bryce Young and I look at Stetson Bennett.
If you're playing, if you're going to play the TCU defense in the national championship, I'm just saying.
They had a rough night.
He made it look pretty dang easy.
Come on.
He made it look real easy.
He made it look pretty easy. I'll give the kid that much.
I like Bennett to a degree, but Bennett would be a 2nd or 3rd round type pick if I was going to go Stetson Bennett.
Bennett doesn't keep me drafting.
Like you said, we've got a here now.
Drafting a quarterback next year. If we get Bennett,
right, we got to see where everybody falls. I don't know where everybody's going to fall yet. We haven't seen where everybody's.
What if you take this year's draft pick and you trade it to another team that you feel like is going to be really bad next year?
Yeah.
To get a really high draft pick next year to go with the pick you already have for a chance to get Caleb Williams next year.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Knowing the Colts luck, we would make that trade, and that team would end up going to the AFC or NFC championship.
Yeah, right. No doubt, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Grapes in this room.
Here, trade it to the Jets. Trade it to the Jets.
Well, the Jets probably won't be a terrible team that. Dude,
no, you're right. You're right. They got defense.
I'm still convinced that Mike White is better.
Yeah, you're right. Than Zach.
Without a doubt.
I think they should cut Zach right now.
Without a doubt.
Yes, okay. So Shreyless, where the hell did I do with my mouse? There it is.
Sooner or later,
can't go by that logic. Seattle was supposed to be bad this year. You are correct. I mean, it would be a gamble, but
yeah. I
mean, you're gambling for a quarterback in any draft, right? It's a gamble, period. I would say gamble on a team not doing well as opposed to grabbing a quarterback this year and then having a better chance, because I think Caleb is one of those guys where his floor might be higher than most of these quarterback ceilings in this draft. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So
I know what you're saying. Yeah, they got to. Yeah.
You're taking a chance 1A here versus a chance 1B here. So
I'll tell you what, if you could hit on a quarterback here, man, the star power in next year's draft is stupid. I mean, it's just stupid. When you sit there and you think Marvin Harrison Jr., and then you got Caleb Williams. I mean, the offensive line that is coming out next year should be really, really good. It's like, I just don't want to wait another year. I don't want to replay.
I understand. We all want to open our presents this year, not next year. Yeah,
I already know what the present is for next year, and it's not good if we do that.
I think
another thing, but here's the deal. Okay, I like Chris Ballard. I want to keep Chris Ballard. I don't want to tank another year and take a chance of losing Chris Ballard. You know what I'm saying?
Chris Ballard.
I would want to get a quarterback that gives us a damn shot. Now, Ballard even said you can win with an average to above average quarterback play, But
True.
But we didn't get that all damn year this year.
All
You
year.
know
Here.
what
Yep.
I mean?
Yes.
So,
No, you did not.
and I agree with them. You can win with an average to a. I mean, look at the Detroit Lions. They played baller, and I'm not going to say Goff is a top 10 quarterback in the league. You know,
No.
I'm not going to say Seattle made the playoffs. I'm not going to say that quarterback's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's situations when you have a damn good roster, just above average quarterback play is all you need. And then if you get that freaking high end talent on top of it, you end up becoming like Kansas City or Buffalo, you know?
Right. Well, I think a lot of it depends, and I think we're missing the point. Well, I think we all know this, but yeah, we're talking quarterback, but first and foremost, it really depends on the coach that we end up getting.
True.
Because that's going to determine, you know, what kind of quarterback does this coach want? What system?
Ooh.
You know,
Did
what
you see the
system?
today?
Which one?
The one that
you guys were interviewing some.
one of the scouts for Michigan stated that Harbaugh's favorite target to be next year
The
is
Colts.
the Colts.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But why haven't I? It's puzzling to me though why we haven't even reached out to him yet.
Probably because he's probably the last guy to talk to. Because there's a bunch of guys. You got to go through a process first off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's a bunch of people due to the rules of the NFL that you have to go through this stinking process, and so they're dropping, you know, specific names. I'm not saying that they're token interviews. I'm just saying
no,
that
they're not
gotta
token
go
interviews.
through this specific process they have to go through.
Sure.
So, and it's
I
not
like
like
some of their
Harbaugh
interviews.
is in some big hurry to go anywhere right away. You know what I mean?
No,
So
he's not.
I'm not saying I want Harbaugh. I'm not saying I don't want Harbaugh. I'm just saying that that's what the rumor out there is right now.
I would take Harbaugh.
Yeah,
I'd take him in a heartbeat.
didn't they?
So would I.
Didn't they interview Detroit's offensive and defensive coordinator?
Today they interviewed
Bubba.
our special teams coordinator, Bubba Ventrone.
Oh, okay. I heard they were looking at also Detroit's offensive and defensive.
They
coordinator.
are Friday.
They interviewed Bubba Ventrone, but he didn't get even looked at for the interim head coach.
I guess Friday.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Friday they're interviewing Raheem Morris.
Yeah.
Supposedly Friday. I haven't heard when Ben Johnson and that guy from the Eagles are gonna interview, but
Yeah, they have to wait till the season's over for them to interview them.
Right. No, that's not.
I think our offensive line now. Shreyless drops in. He says that he'd like to see Ryan Kelly traded for a pick. I think the offensive line can be fixed, like be above average offensive line again. I think it was above average offensive line the last 4 weeks of the year. But you go grab yourself another guard and plug him in there, say in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, you know, so that we don't have a 6th, 7th, and undrafted free agent guard trying to plug in there. Then I think that this offensive line gets back to the way it was 2-3 years ago. You know what I mean? Now, Bernard Ryman, again, he played very well the last 3 weeks. He still had, you know, not technical issues. His play on the field was very good. He still had, you know, his rookie mistakes of, you know, maybe a false start or a hold here or there or something like that, you know, that comes with playing the game, especially as a rookie. But I think he played much better. Do we go get a left tackle? I think you absolutely have to in this draft or in free agency to put up with Ryman so that they have real competition. You know what I mean?
You got to grind metal. Yeah, you got to grind metal.
Right now. And I want to mention the name. We picked up a guy yesterday off of Dallas waivers and stuff. Don't sleep on this kid. Dakota Shepley. Okay. If you guys want, I put a clip in general in our Discord. All right. Check it out. It's from Dallas and stuff. But this kid was drafted, I think, like the fourth pick in the Canadian Football League. And then
Okay.
Came to the NFL, but check him out. I'm not saying it's the only competition, but he plays center and guard, and has also played some tackle, right tackle. Anywhere on the right side of the
Okay.
line, from the center out, he's competition. I'm not saying it's the only competition I want for Fries, but you know, I mean, if this is the low end of the competition that the Colts have next year, I'm on board. Whether it's through a draft or whether it's through free agency, I just want to get something to push Fries.
Here's the deal.
Right.
Okay. Tim, what's up? Appreciate you being in here. He says he'd love to see more minority head coaches, yet Saturday is a Colt for life, and the team responded to him. I'd love to see him in Tampa because he's a Tampa fan. Man, I get you. Colts fans want him, but mostly as an offensive line coach, you know? And I don't think he takes an offensive line coach spot. He's been offered
I don't think either.
multiple times over the last few years, apparently, from Ballard and Reich, and has turned it down. If it wasn't for the fact that I want an offensive-minded coach so that we could keep our defense intact, with a chance to keep our defense intact, including Gus Bradley, I'd be all for Brian Flores. You know, I'd be okay with that. But I don't want a defensive-minded head coach. You know, I want an offensive-minded head coach.
See, and I'll tell you right now,
that's where you
I watched this long thing last year, and I went and dug it up from Tomlin. And Tomlin was sitting there saying, you know, being a head coach, it doesn't matter whether you're offensive or defensive. You know what I mean? It was just basically, he was just like, you've got to be a good leader of men. You've got to be a good manager. He says, you worry about your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator. And then you make sure you support them with a good quarterback coach and a good quality, you know, offensive quality guy and stuff. And I'm like, listen to this. And it makes a lot of sense because, you know, if your head coach isn't playing, you know, doing the play calling and everything else, if he's just being a head coach, you know what I mean? And that's where I'm like, yeah, that's why I think, you know, a Bubba Ventrone, you know, or Jeff Saturday. I'm not on board with the Saturday thing just because of the epic fails
I'm not either
this year. You know what I mean? Wasn't that 1-7? Yeah, I'd have been better with 1-7 if there wasn't the massive collapse in Dallas and if there wasn't the massive failure against Minnesota. When I seen that stuff, I was just like, man, no, that's a no.
Yeah, that's hurt because I mean, for the most part, I can't put our record as, you know, everyone's saying. I don't put the record on Saturday. He was put in a really bad situation. Ballard's not lying about that. He was put in a really bad situation.
He would be a great offensive line coach. I think that's where he, you know.
Well, we've been trying for years.
Someone should pick him up for that. Yeah,
I will say, yeah, the when your team can jump out to a big lead. Now against Minnesota, I saw that shit happening. I knew it was going to happen because our offense looked freaking awful. And I'm like, how can we expect our defense and special teams to keep putting up points against this team? Sooner or later, our defense is going to be too tired. And the Vikings was going to come alive. And that's exactly what happened, you know. And the thing that happened in Dallas in the fourth quarter is one of those situations that could happen to any team in the NFL. Maybe not to that degree, but it can happen where shit starts to go bad and you try to fix it, end up overcompensating your fix, and it just continues to roll, you know, and gets worse and worse and worse.
But the fact that
I've seen that happen to multiple teams on multiple years. It sucks when it happens, and it sucked when it happened to that degree in Dallas.
But the fact that both of those happened to the same team within a 3-week window, and one of those weeks was a bye, if I'm not mistaken. You know, so it's like,
I do admit that you have a very logical argument there, Chuck. Really do.
The thing about it is, I really like we talked about when Jeff was first brought in. It was kind of like he's here for a reason. Irsay brought him here to find out what the heck is going on within the locker room in this organization that has caused this turnaround so quickly to where we're playing like crap. That's what he was brought in here for. You know, and granted, I'm not going to hold the record against him and anything like that, but I tell you, I would love to be able to sit with him and listen to what he suggests, what he would do to fix it, what the changes, like he talked about in his press conference, what he would do, the changes he would make to fix it. Because you know as well as I do, he's got a list of people that he could get in here as offensive coordinator, defensive, coaches. He could bring a lot of people in here. And I'll tell you this, and I mean, this is kind of a joke, but he would be a shoo-in. If somehow, some way he could convince 18 to come in here as the offensive coordinator, it would be a done deal. Irsay would flip over and do cartwheels and sign him to the dotted line.
A lot of hours and
but you know as well as I do. If he could get 18 to come in here in some role, it'd be over with.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that is the thing about Saturday is that he does have a list, and if he could bring Peyton Manning in and be like passing team specialist, done deal. He's hired instantly, and not a single Colt fan would argue that.
Yeah. Nope. I've told you many times, if Jeff Saturday came in with a super strong list and sat there and said, this is what I got and this is what I want, and has a clear picture to the Tomlin article I was telling you guys about. Knowing how to lead men, check. Managing time and check. To your point, Tom, you were saying he was here to bring the O-line. The O-line, you asked me, from week 5 to week 18, massive improvement. Not perfect, not the final standard, but massive improvement. And you did that with 2. Okay, Fries wasn't a rookie, but basically he was. Right. An actual rookie. So it's like, I respect the heck out of Saturday. I wouldn't even mind if the offensive coordinator or the head coach, whoever it is, and then bring Saturday in as what are they? Not a head coach, but like the assistant head coach or whatever. Make a spot for him to where he's on the sideline, where he's watching how things are working and stuff, and just give him a couple of years and then let him throw his hat in the ring again for another organization. I'm down for that even.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, if memory serves me correct, if the Colts release Matt Ryan, we take a $17 million dead cap hit.
No, 18 million dead cap, 17 million saved.
Okay, flipped. Okay, yeah. So, and in all honesty,
and we save less. We save more if he retires, right?
We save he retires. We don't have to pay him a dime.
Right.
Well, no, you don't pay him a dime.
But from his end of season interview, it don't sound like he's wanting to retire at all.
And I will tell you that if he was to retire, we'd still owe him 6 because the way
that's from past, because it was
correct
prorated.
Yeah, but my point is
prorated. Yes, you are correct.
Ryan is not retiring. I don't think with Phillip Rivers, I was like, is he going to stay? Is he going to retire? I didn't know, and he had those injuries and stuff. Matt Ryan, to me, and nor should he. Me personally, the team, the Colts organization did not honor their end of the thing, of their agreement to Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan didn't either. Even whenever things started to work out, it was like, this is a big fail. So, like I said, cut your ties, do whatever you can, trade them. Heck, Ballard got rid of Carson Wentz, so let Ballard do what Ballard does. See if he can sprinkle some of that magic GM dust on there and do whatever it takes. Let's go, Ballard.
Magic GM dust. I love it.
I am going to state again, there's no way in hell. I know a lot of people want Saturday as an O-line assistant coach. He will not take it. He'll go back to ESPN.
No, he
does not want to be an assistant coach or a position coach.
And when I say assistant head coach, I'm talking about how it's like this guy's basically just shouting them and learning, and plus, whoever. I can't wait to see what this team does.
Shout out to Scott real quick with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, my guy. He says, I love this stream. You guys talk about what matters. And we just, again, This
Awesome.
is a Patreon stream. I'm just going to restate it. Every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Generally, this is closed to Patreon members only. We do this every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We come in at 8 o'clock. We just sit and talk, and we talk about whatever everybody wants to talk about, right?
Yep.
And if you want to join Patreon,
That
for only
$5 right there,
a month
Scott,
to do that,
that $5 would have gotten you
yeah,
these
would have
weekly
gotten you in
meetings
this
for a month. You get all
for
the
a whole
behind the
month.
scenes. You get
Yep.
all the behind the scenes from Leaving Colts unedited. You get all the cool little interactions and stuff. For that $5, you would have had all this for at least a month. But we do really appreciate the $5.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's the situation, man.
D-Love,
Hey, what's up,
on?
D-Love? Never notified me. How's it going? Man, that's BS. Come on, YouTube. My bad, man. Next time I will email you directly. What's your email address? No, I'm just kidding.
But you know what? There's another advantage to being a Patreon. For Patreon, you get the emails.
Yes,
So
in
your
Patreon. Yeah, the Patreon. I send out an email to every patron. Now, I don't know the email. It's just when you sign up for Patreon, you put in your email and then it's saved. I don't ever see it, but I can message Patreon members without knowing their email.
All right.
Shrey is you might be needing to watch yourself with Shrey.
This is what happens
that's
when
good.
you know somebody since you're 8 freaking years old. I used to hang out with. I used to walk with him to school every day. I'd walk to the donut shop, pick up a bunch of day old donuts for a nickel, go to his house, eat them, and then we go to school. I mean, and that was like middle school, like 5th grade. So, yeah, that's how long I've known Trayless.
Hey, Shrey. I want some dirt.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
I have dirt on you too, Trey. So it's all good. It's
Does
all.
anybody know who Duke Merriweather is?
Never heard of him.
Can you give us a little information on him, Basil? Not sure who that is. Basil was asking about how about Duke Merriweather for O-line coach. See, the thing is, the O-line coach is going to be decided by whoever the new head coach is. That new head coach is going to be bringing in Merriweather.
You know, like there is, and I've stated this many, many, many times. There is an offensive coordinator I wouldn't mind giving a shot to.
Duke
and he's
Merriweather.
not technically an offensive coordinator, and he's for the Niners. But it's Bobby Slowick. He's been the pass game specialist for the Niners for the last 7 years. And you know that over the last 5, that offense has been so good that anyone, and literally every quarterback that has played in that offense, and there's been a lot of them, because that certain, Mr. Jimmy GQ could not stay healthy longer than 3 weeks out of a season. So every year, 2 or 3 quarterbacks was playing for that team, and every damn one played to above average to great.
Look at Brock Purdy
right there. That guy knows what the hell he's doing. And I think he deserves a shot somewhere. I think he's one of those secret weapon guys that someone's going to pick up, and he's going to end up really, making himself look really, really good at some point. And he's young too. I think he's younger than Mike McDaniels.
Hell, he's making Brock Purdy look pretty good.
Come on now. That along with that roster is making him look pretty good.
Hey, I'd take him right now. Holy crap.
Well, everything is designed. Everything on that team, every play on that team is designed for yak yards.
Right.
Everything. So I love it.
Let me ask you guys this. I heard this earlier today. What do you think about if seeing how Chicago has the first round pick, if they were to trade Justin Fields and take Bryce Young at the first round pick, would we go after Justin Fields since Ballard was interested in him?
I don't want Justin Fields.
Just a thought.
He might go after him. That's fine. That's on him. You know what I mean? I don't think Chicago wants to trade Fields.
No, I don't think so either.
If I remember right, they already stated that they did not want to trade Justin Fields.
Well, they said that, but then today and his press conference, well, if something blew me away, I might do it. So, you're saying all the right things. He's dangling that pick out there. They want as much as they can get for that pick.
You're making fans in the chat, Jack.
Oh,
Yeah, they're liking the beard.
yeah. Oh, thank you.
Skip Bayless.
Yeah. Skip came in a couple shows ago, and I was losing.
It's at Duke at Big Duke 50.
Yes, at Big Duke 50. Yes.
He's a scouting guy. It's an offensive line scouting person, I assume.
No worries, Basil. Appreciate you. Sarah's in here. What do you guys think? This is a name that of the first four that were mentioned, he was the best, but I'm still not sure. And then Lawrence, this goes to, what you were talking about. You want to know offensive-minded guy.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this guy?
I've heard nothing but good things about him. I've heard that, he's look what he's done with Jared Goff, so.
Yeah, I like the way that offense run for sure this year. Honestly, I seen the DC coordinator or the DC from the Lions, and I was like, really?
Yeah,
The defense was not very. They played good against Green Bay.
Yeah, I don't see the Lions DC. I agree with you. Maybe the Lions OC, but yeah, I don't. I'm like, you want to bring in the Lions DC? I was like,
what about that guy from Denver, their defensive coordinator? We've got an interview set up with him.
Yeah, I started dipping my toe and learning a little bit more about him and stuff, but I haven't fully, like I said, I'm trying to catch up with these guys. I was like, oh, thank God they mentioned Bubba today. That was one I knew something about. I didn't have to do a whole lot of research. Is that tonight? What is that? It's all pixelated.
no, it isn't. I read it. It's Antes. It's Antes.
Oh, wow.
Spotted Dick.
Okay. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah. Spotted Dick.
Okay.
I know what that is. It's good with tea. They sell it over in England.
Yeah, I as I said, I didn't know how to feel about my wife coming home with that and gobbling it up.
By the way, how's the sister-in-law?
Very good.
He is recovering well. We had a little issue though. I was at the house earlier, visiting with them for a little bit earlier today, and she has a dog. It's a pup. It's a husky pup. Okay. Yeah, so very highly energetic.
Yes.
And not small.
Yes, they are.
Okay. And
must do
this
everything.
dog, my sister-in-law was throwing the ball, right? Just playing with the pup. And she come running back and leapt completely over her, right over her whole midsection. And for those of you that don't know, the reason my wife is hanging out with her for about a week is because she just had a emergency hysterectomy because they found stuff. So, so when the dog leaps right over, and I mean it was close. She about gave birth right there. I mean, she went and grabbed the pillow, put it over her stomach. Her eyes got this big, and I'm like, ooh, your life flashed before your eyes.
Jeez.
Yeah, Nikki. I don't want to say the whole name and all that, Shreyla. So
Yes, D-Love, I agree. Bubba's units have always been on point. Bubba's one of those guys who can sit there and find things that I don't think every coach does.
But the thing about Bubba is everybody talks about how, a lot of fans talk about how they want a guy that shows emotion on the sidelines and Bubba's not one of those dudes. When it comes to celebrating his players, but like when I'm talking about talk about his interviews and stuff, he is as even keeled and thought out as possible.
That's fine. I just want to sit there and see spit flying. Why did you miss that block? I just want to see that on the sideline.
But I get that.
Give me coach speak anyhow. I don't care about the rest of that. I just want to see some frothing going on.
That's what I'm saying is, I'm talking about, in the interviews and press conferences and stuff like that. People always complain about how our coaches are always saying the exact same thing and thinking out what they're going to say and do. Coach Bubba Ventrone takes that to a next level, right?
True.
I feel like Bubba's getting asked a question.
I think he learned how to talk in interviews from Bill Belichick. Okay, because he worked under Bill Belichick. So he
Yeah.
And I also feel like when you ask Bubba a question, you can almost see him like, how is this question going to blow up on me? As he's answering, he's just like, well, yeah, that guy stunk, but, the rest of the guys stunk too. I mean? It was just like, all right, there we go. We're not going to throw one guy in the whole.
Loyalists, I think we need to throw your name in the ring for head coach. Then we would get that passion on the sideline.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but you know what? I'd be like, I've never seen this view. I wouldn't even be thinking about the game. This is the best way I've ever seen a game.
He'd be pointing up at the Jumbotron saying, look how big my head is.
I got on the field.
The headset on.
So you're saying you would make Saturday look like the coach of the year, is what you're saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll tell you what, man. I got credentials for training camp this year for the first year. I've gone to the last 3 years of training camps. This was the first year I got credentialed, and I was on the field, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is different. I really like that because, like, when you're watching the guys do the drills and stuff, you could sit there and honestly – I don't want to say feel their speed, but you could just feel in relationship to the other guys where these cats were. It's like whenever, gosh darn it, who was it? Marlon Mack came back. No, it wasn't Mack, was it? No, we didn't have this year. Who was it? Somebody came back from injury, and I was just like, doesn't look like he skipped a beat. Was it Blackman? Was Blackman coming off an Achilles?
Yeah, last year.
Yes.
Yeah, so when I was seeing Black
training camp,
and stuff, I was just like, wow, and you could really, like I said, feel like if the guy was looking fluid or not, whereas when you're up in the stands, you're just like, yeah, it looks like he's okay. Don't see much different.
Yeah, but when you're on the sideline and you see a lot, yeah, exactly. You really see how big some of these dudes really are, especially when you're right there standing next to them.
Or not, whenever you're standing next to your quarterback that everybody keeps telling you 6'2", and I'm like, Sam is not 6'2". I don't care who.
Well, I remember doing that interview with Alec Ogletree, and I'm looking at him eye to eye, and I almost never talk to people eye to eye, and I was like, this is a first for me.
Yeah, I remember this year going to training camp, and I saw there on the sidelines Jelani standing next to Kenny Moore. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times. Oh, so I want a flashback to, because I couldn't get this out of my head, so I have to share it. Chuck being the head coach on the sideline, it's 3rd and 4, or 3rd and 2. He calls up a quarterback sneak or something, and the offense gets up there, and then he's like, timeout. And then everybody runs up. What's up, coach? Did you see something? No, I just wanted to see myself on the Jumbotron again. Because if I call timeout, then they're going to ask about stuff and they're going to focus right on me. So
I'll tell you what, if I was the head coach, first meeting I'm having, do I want to see the owner? No. Do I want to see strength and conditioning? No. Give me number 56 in the damn office right now. I want to see this man. Let me get those jitters out of the way, of just talking to him and stuff. Be like, all right, Q, let's fix this thing this year.
Sarah asked if we think that Jim Harbaugh will interview with us. I think it's at a 99% chance at some point Harbaugh will probably interview for a position.
I agree.
Did he already? I know there was rumors that when he was here for the Big Ten championship, that he was supposed to go out to dinner with Irsay and talk to him. Then did that ever happen? Do we know?
I have no clue. I mean, rumors are rumors.
There was rumors about that, and I just wondered if anybody ever verified that or not.
I have no idea. You know what? Frank Reich might have had a meeting with Jim Irsay on one of his yachts out in Miami and was talking to, a famous quarterback or something. I don't.
No, you didn't.
You never know. You never know.
Inside joke for those in the know, right?
Basil says, and I've heard that sentiment actually. It says he won't. Basil says Harbaugh will meet with us if only to boost his leverage over Michigan. I think is what he's talking about, to get more money.
I'll tell you what. If I become assistant GM right behind Ed Dodds, I'll be the assistant GM. I will send you out there. I don't know if I'd send you. Yeah, I'd send you out to Hawaii. There's players from Hawaii that make it to the NFL. There's a couple.
Oh, absolutely.
Pretty good. So yeah, I'll send you out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of big boys out there.
You know what the assistant GM would be? That's the coffee winch and the
that's the gopher. But I'll still be a gopher. I don't care.
There you go.
Hire me.
Oh yeah, for that money? For that money? Oh, absolutely. I'll go for that. I'll go for that. I'll go for that up, man. I'll go for that up, man. That's money in the bank. Man.
There you go. What's that? Wait, what's that paycheck look like, right, Matt?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good coffee paycheck right there.
That's pretty much what Parks Frazier did in his first starting gig with the Colts when his first year here with Frank Reich. He was the assistant to the head coach, which is basically go for
coffee.
Well, he held clipboards and stuff like that, but yeah.
But he did get to be in the room.
Oh,
and
that ended up getting him job after job after job, and he moved through the ranks year after year.
It's like being a walk-on on a college team or being a UDFA, and then turning out, all of a sudden you're an all-pro or a Pro Bowler through the special teams or something.
And after this year, his career has come to an abrupt end.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Frank Reich did interview with the Panthers today. He will interview with a few people, I am guessing, and probably get hired by somebody. I think Frank Reich is a head coach next year.
Yeah, don't forget that he lived in Carolina, and I think his family. So he's got a bunch of family that lives in Carolina.
He does. Yeah. Yes, he does.
I wish him the best, man. I tell you now, I think he's going to be a good coach, and I'm glad that he went to Carolina, so we don't have to, deal with all that.
Yeah, please.
Did you hear where Ballard said that him and Frank still text each other and all that? I believe that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you build relationships, and when you have a relationship with someone over 5 years, that's not just going to go walk down the drain.
No.
Unless, I assume, unless your name is Pagano or Grigson. That situation might be a little different. But
you had to bring that name up.
And let's not forget, not only did they work together, but they went through some stuff that losing Andrew Luck, and then they went through some stuff as a group of guys weaving through stuff. It's crazy.
I want to sign a petition and get everyone in Colts Nation to sign to get Pat McAfee to get Ryan Grigson on his show, because I think that would be one of the funnest shows ever.
That's a great idea. That is.
That is going to require so much vitamins. He's going to have to sit there. Hang on, we're going to take a short break again. Somebody go do something. Yeah, somebody go do something for $5,000 real quick.
Oh my God, that would be worth it. Oh. I would love to see that interview.
That would break his all-time viewing record. I'll guarantee it.
Yes.
That'll break the always bet on 18, the Peyton Manning story.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, all of Colts Nation would tune in for that one.
It would have a hard time where they went to the wrestling match and then drove under that little awning and stuff, and they took the top off of the RV that they'd rented.
Yeah,
that was awesome. That was right when I first started watching Pat McAfee, and after that, I was like, "Oh my God, I cannot miss this show."
My respect for Pat McAfee as an athlete skyrocketed when he did the backflip off the top turnbuckle onto the mats on the floor.
Oh
No
yeah,
kidding.
earlier this year.
The kid's athletic. He's got it. He's athletic.
D-Love asked, "Why was Grigson always sweating?" Well, I don't know if it was that or if it was that bear he kept putting in his hair all the time. Something was definitely going on there.
But
yeah, I'll do that. I'll tweet the Pat McAfee show on a daily basis until somebody responds to it.
I'll post it originally.
Okay.
I'll post it. Matter of fact, if you guys keep talking, I'll post that shit right now.
Yeah, post it right now, and I'll tweet it every day. I watch that show every day. I'll tweet him every day.
I have to admit that I haven't been able to watch it as much as I would like to lately, but I still get to see some clips.
Well, I'm expecting him to have Ballard on any time now. He usually does after he does his press conference. In like the week or so afterwards, he usually has him on. So I'm waiting to hear that. That ought to be interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't even cover it yet.
No, I was expecting it today, but he didn't say
because he
anything.
normally would mention it or something, and he didn't even
Right.
do that. He's probably just like, let them guys sort some stuff out. They don't need any heat from me right now.
No, you can tell though he still cares about the Colts.
That's obvious.
He still cares. Did you watch him in the national championship game on ESPN2?
Dude,
I did.
I had to leave.
They were
I had to
hilarious.
leave the room and come back for a minute. I was just I could not get over seeing McAfee in the suit jacket and stuff. I was just like, I couldn't. And then after I processed that, I couldn't stop watching Saban, just watching how he was reacting to McAfee because he just kept going. And McAfee, you could see McAfee ramping up. He's like, "Oh, nope, settle down." And then a couple more fist bumps, and then all of a sudden it was like, it's going.
That's what he was talking about
today.
He was talking today about how he was on set with Saban, and he was talking about how great Georgia is and all that. And then he's like, "Oh shit, I got to remember who I'm sitting next to. He's gonna kill me."
Well, it's not only that. Well, it's not only that. He was acting like he was going to take TCU, and and then all of a sudden he switches. I'm taking Georgia.
Yeah.
We all know Grigson was awful, and most of us love Pat McAfee. But the reason why that it is widely known, Pat McAfee absolutely hates Grigson. Grigson was one of the reasons why. I think he's the main reason why Pat McAfee retired. From the NFL. So that's why I think that would be a huge show, because we all know that Pat would not be able to hold it together the entire time.
Is he still in the NFL somewhere?
Yes.
Yes,
Last I knew, Minnesota.
I think so. I think he was with Seattle for a time as not a GM, but
the assistant to the assistant GM.
No, he was what's that called? Oh shit! Where you give advice?
Look him up on Wikipedia.
D-Love says he's
look him up on Wikipedia. I'll tell you what he is.
With the Brown. Well, you know what? It's pretty easy.
Yeah, look Browns though. I'm almost positive D-Lo's right.
Consultant.
Yeah,
Look him up on Wikipedia.
had to help him.
They'll tell you where.
With that big contract.
He is the Senior Vice President of Player Personnel for the Minnesota Vikings as of right now.
Well, they've got to lose then.
That's Wikipedia. So
No, well,
Yeah.
that's wrong.
Right. They're pretty good. No, it's not. They're pretty good. They're pretty good about that.
Sarah Smalls.
Yeah, they have their moments.
I like. Don't get me wrong. I like AQ Shipley. Oh, I guess it would help. Find mine. It keeps moving every time I go to click on it. There we go. Basil said the best part of past show right now is AQ Shipley, and then I think Sarah came up with the right. That's my guy right there. D-Butt.
D-Butt, yeah.
I'll tell you right now, man.
I had D-Butt on my show.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Antoine.
Yes, and I enjoy the heck out of that show. I enjoy D-Butt. Yeah, he's
They've
good
agreed to
people.
come on together.
Yeah.
On my show. In the next
And I like the way they just bounce off of each other and really get a good conversation going and stuff. Absolutely.
He threw his hat in the ring to be a coach for the Colts again. Just a couple days ago on Pat McAfee show, said if Jeff comes back as coach, Jeff can give him a call. He'd show up. He'd be there.
Well, that would be one hell of a room, wouldn't it? I mean, D-Butt's assistant cornerbacks coach. You got Mike Mitchell, the assistant safeties coach. You'd have the assistant linebackers coach in Cato June. You'd have the wide receivers coach at Reggie. Wayne. It'd be ridiculous. You would just need the passing game specialist.
Okay, you've got. Well, remember,
Peyton Manning.
Passing game
Edgar
specialist.
James can be the assistant running backs coach.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, let's don't forget, passing game specialist can be a part-time gig, so that can be Peyton Manning. And you have Dan Orlovsky as your offensive coordinator. And, and Manning.
That's been brought up a lot lately.
Huh?
No.
That has been brought up a lot as Dan Orlovsky as being an offensive coordinator.
Oh, I like watching the way he breaks that stuff down over there. I mean, I think he's ready. And I remember whenever Saturday first got the interim spot, he mentioned that, and that was the last I'd heard about it. Heck, I'd be fine with Edrin coming back as a third down running back. Just
like, okay, guys, we just brought back the entire 2006 team.
Yeah,
it's
just get them
they're
all
not
back.
on the field.
Get them all back. Get them all.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, get them all back. Get them all back here as coaches. Bring the whole family back. That's what Ursay
Robert
wants.
Mathis, I mean, so many fans have asked Robert Mathis to be the pass rush specialist coach that, you know, and if I remember correctly, no, he straight up said he did not want that job.
Yeah, he did it the one time. And then that was, he was like, nah, it's too many damn hours.
I asked DeQuell Jackson if he would take being a linebackers coach. You know what he said? Hell no. He said the first time someone did something or didn't do something after he told him to do it, he would lose his mind.
You know how everybody sat there and said MCDC was bringing in all these ex-players last year for Detroit, and he was like, heck, I'm putting these guys on the field. Could you imagine our backups club with the coaching staff like that? It's all right. We've only got a few Hall of Famers in there.
Well, okay, then we need to also bring Marvin can be the assistant wide receiver coach with
How
Reggie.
weird would it be to be coaching your own son, though?
Exactly.
I mean,
well, see, that would give us the foot in the door to get Marvin Jr. in there.
Probably did it when he was younger.
Exactly.
Cool.
That might help us get Marvin Jr. in the door.
I need a moment, real quick. I know this is a Patreon stream, but since y'all are out here, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed. All right, and don't forget to check out the Patreon.
Josh Parker's like, tampering. You guys are tampering. They're not under
Tampering.
contract. We're okay. Oh, mercy.
Basil, it's just a joke. We know that's not all going to happen. some players can be great coaches. Some players can't. You know,
Cannot.
it has a lot to do with not only your personality, but your teaching skills. Just because you have this knowledge doesn't mean that you can impart this knowledge effectively to other people. You know,
You have the patience for it. Doesn't mean that you have the temperament for it. I mean,
I'll be back.
All righty, brother.
That's what I'm afraid. I couldn't imagine being a quarterback under Peyton Manning. That would scare me to death. You know?
Absolutely.
Well, the worst thing is you know everything that went wrong, especially if it was here in Indy. Everything that went wrong, it could not have anything to do with Peyton. So it is all that quarterback. Peyton could sit there and call a quarterback sneak with 8 yards to go, and they're going to blame the quarterback.
That's right. He should have had that. He should have had that.
Yeah, I would not want to be in that scenario at all.
Ooh, God,
Absolutely
that would be a nightmare. That would be a nightmare.
Peyton's having too much fun. He doesn't want to coach.
I would. I mean, if it's not owner or part
he's got too many things going on. Oh my God.
He ain't got time to coach.
No.
Beyond his little Manning passing camp.
Even if Saturday could bring him in as like a consultant, like Jeff did for the Colts, if Peyton could be a consultant, a part-time consultant, that's all that Saturday would need to sign on the dotted line.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's not going to happen, but that would nail it.
but I'll tell you right now, I've got a good feeling about this. I mean, all things considered, it was funny, you know, because going into the last couple of weeks, all I heard on Twitter was the Colts were such a dumpster fire that there's no way any coach would want to be associated with it. Irsay's too meddling, which I'm not denying that those facts hold weight and stuff. But the thing is I honestly felt like it's the NFL. Okay, you're getting ready to get presumably you're getting ready to get a young quarterback of your choosing.
Right.
Okay, you've got Quentin Nelson, you've got Braden Smith, you've got Ryan Kelly. Granted, Ryan Kelly has dropped. Well, all three of them dropped off this year.
Right.
But the thing is they're all young enough that they can still come back. Then you sit there and you look at your receiving core. I mean, Paris Campbell. Kudos to Paris Campbell what he did this year. I mean, not just did he stay healthy, but he stayed.
He was productive.
Yeah, he stayed focused, locked in. And I'll tell you right now, he blew me away with how good of a run blocker he is. Yep. I'm just like, Paris, where did that come from? You know?
He hadn't been upright long enough for us to see it.
I tell you what, and I've said this before on our shows, and I saw somebody quote it on Twitter today. It just I hope next year somehow, some way we can get a really good, or they develop into a really good blocking tight end, because you can tell where we have missed Jack Doyle tremendously from last year to this year.
Yeah, I was saying that going in, that I was like, okay, missing Jack is going to be a big thing. If you look back, I mean, like shortly after his retirement, I was like, that's going to be hard to replace, but hopefully, you know, we can do that. And I'll tell you right now, Granson and Jelani Woods both of them got much better at their blocking this year. But like you said, I want me a people mover. I want somebody that's just, I don't want to catch the ball. I just want to,
you know, Jack was always that, you know, they dubbed him Mr. Reliable. He would always, you know, he'd always catch that pass over the middle. He was always open. He would always catch it. But unless you really watched him on every play, you didn't realize the things he did for blocking. That wham block, that there was no such thing as a wham block without Jack Doyle. I mean, he's the one that he did that. And if people didn't see that about him, and now you see, you know, we miss him. We missed him terribly.
Yeah.
Chuck, we do have a tight end on the roster that
I know.
Had.
I know when I was getting ready to pull that one up.
Nikola Kalanick. Yeah, he is a
who's that?
Blocker and only
47
blocker.
I was going to say Nikola.
Oh, he's your blocker tight end. He doesn't catch a ball.
He came in about 8 or 9 games to go. he'd been on and off the practice squad and stuff. But yeah, he is a good blocker. But and then I wanted to bring up D-Love says we still got Ogletree. Ogletree though isn't a finished product by the far cry. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you now, I think with those guys we could be good at tight end in a couple of years. But I still want listen to me. I'll let my jumbled word. I still would like to have Nikolai for a whole season, and now he's been in the somebody to just that's your job, man. I don't even want to see you think about catching. As a matter of fact, when we start about receiving routes for tight ends, go to the offensive line. I want you to just practice with the O-line.
Yeah, Gary, I promise you, I would never forget about Drew Ogletree for one specific reason.
He's a big man.
I'm the guy who interviewed his ass one-on-one the day before he went to IR. Okay, I will never be let that down my whole life. I had a one-on-one during training camp with him on the sideline on the field, and the next day he gets injured, goes to IR.
Yeah,
so,
I'll
never forget about him.
And the thing about Ogletree is he's on the offensive side. He's my Grover Stewart. He's got this big smile. Just everything you ever see, whether it's he just looks happy and everything. I mean, he probably on the ground whenever he went down. It was just like, hey, Coach, what am I going to do about this?
I like Ogletree so much that I'm sorry. I like Ogletree so much that when I interviewed Woods this past Monday, if you want to go check that out and you guys haven't yet, go check that out. I interviewed Jelani Woods and
I saw it.
And damn it, my mind is skipping.
Dio
Dangbo. One of my questions to Jelani was, how's your relationship still with Drew Ogletree? And so, I would never do that.
Hazel says you took out our fourth tight end and tanked the season. Way to go.
You can take me for the fourth pick of the draft.
There we
go.
We better hit on that fourth pick, buddy.
Hey, I can only lead a horse to water. I can't make him drink.
I did want to finish my thought because Ogletree, he always had this real big smile. But I'll tell you right now, when training camp started, I don't know if you guys remember, when training camp started, Ogletree, and I'm even putting him over Mo Alley Cox, Ogletree was the best performing tight end behind Kylan Granson because those two guys came in during the first weeks of training camp and were just balling out. They really were. And I'll tell you right now, he went from Mr. Smile to Mr. I'm going to run you over whether I'm blocking or catching a pass. And I think he dropped one pass in all of training camp. That may be exaggerated, but he did not drop many. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Think about it. We never got to see it this year, but wait till next year when you have Jelani and Ogletree on the same feet on the same time out there.
Oh, we'll have three tight end sets with all three of them.
All three of them.
And I'm not counting Mo here because Kylan.
I don't think Mo will be
was
back
a beast this year at tight end. He got so much better at blocking, but his receiving skills was off the charts. I mean, he's a damn good receiving tight end.
Yeah, he is.
So having three tight, we'll have I think we're set. Absolutely, we should go out and get more weapons. You always refuel the tank when it comes to offensive weapons. But I'm just saying, I'm not scared with the base we have right now.
Yeah,
we've had a shit ton. I'll tell you what, Josh, we had more 2 tight end sets this year than we did last year. Let me go look at the snap count. It's stupid.
You probably had more than the Patriots.
For a lot less money.
I admitted that.
Do that.
How are you, sir?
It's true.
But yeah, like I said, the thing is I just really want to see Ogletree be able to come back healthy, because he hasn't had any major injuries up to this point in his career. Want him to come back healthy. But during that interview that Lawrence was talking about where he was talking to Jelani Woods, watch the interview again. It's a short, it's like 15, 20-minute video, but you watch it, it's like So he asked a question about Andrew Ogletree, and he's like, "Oh yeah," you could just see that smile. And he's like, "He's out there, he's coaching me up, you know what I mean?" So he's really, because of that camaraderie and stuff, I think he's just really stayed super engaged. They live together, so they're constantly, two rookies, one's not playing,
Right.
the other one is. Can you imagine all the conversations? Heck, they probably came into the facility. Jelani probably came in half tired a few times, where they were just sitting up talking all night. That's how I've imagined it, at least.
With as many times as we was at 3rd and long, and we would not have a tight end on the field, and the 3 major tight ends that we had, Mo Alley Cox had 51% of the snaps. Kylan Granson had 36% of the snaps. And you got to remember, Kylan Granson only played half the year. And then Jelani Wood was at 30%. So, that's over 100% of tight end snaps. Well over. And, many, many, many times was we out there with 2 running back or 4 receivers. We did have quite a bit of 2 run. It was weird because when we would have like a fullback set up with the tight end, stuff like that as well. But yeah, it's odd. I mean, Nicola had some snaps as well, obviously.
Yeah, what percentage did he get? Because like I said,
he only played the last few weeks of the year,
right,
but he had 5% total.
I'll be back in a minute, boss.
No problem.
I don't think Mo's going to return next year. I think Mo will be in a trade package somewhere.
I mean, it's possible. But I wouldn't bet on it. But
how many years did they sign him for?
3.
3 years.
$8 million a year for 3 years. Which is about what, I think the big thing with Mo is, and here's an issue, and I'm seeing this with him and Jelani. It seems like no quarterback knows how to throw a football to either any big tight ends this year.
Exactly.
They always. How do you overthrow a 6'7" tight end? And it happened over and over, no matter who the quarterback was.
Exactly.
Talent.
Amazing talent. You got Mo and Jelani, both 6'7" plus, and every quarterback always overthrew them. I don't understand how that's possible. Especially these guys, they have 10-foot wingspans, basically, I mean, they could grab the lighting up there, and they're still overthrowing them.
Well, Erlinger did manage to hit Mo on one, so almost threw it too high.
So
well, I kind of feel bad for Mo because he wasn't, he didn't go out. He was mainly out there for blocking. Yep. He didn't get utilized very much.
And again, what's really bad is he was set a lot of times blocking the main pass rusher,
right?
One
and
on
he didn't,
freaking one.
Yeah, didn't stand a chance.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Look, I love. You wouldn't do that with even Jack Doyle. He would be a helper, or he would be a blindside cut man. Something like that, maybe against a main rusher, but he would block. He would either double your main rusher, helping the tackle, or he would go out and be that, guy for a linebacker, but
right.
Not a 280-pound pass rusher. You can't put Mo Alley Cox and expect him to win one-on-one against a TJ Watt. I mean, you just
no, it's not going to happen.
No.
Boy, he's too damn tall.
So real quick, what was your guys' thoughts after of Sam and what you guys got to see that last game? Did it sway you guys at all? Are you more on board with Sam being back?
I am
not
more
asking you as a starter. I'm just saying, are you more on? Huh?
No, I think he can be a perfect backup for us. I mean, he can come in a pinch and come in and play if needed. I don't have a problem with him being our backup, but he's definitely not our starter.
Jack?
No, I was real pleased with what I saw from Sam for the most part. Like I said, I saw a lot of Sam down here where I live because they showed a lot of Texas games. I saw him in college, and I kind of liked it when we picked him up to start with. And I knew he was going to be a little bit of a project. That's fine. What I'm thinking about is if just say for instance we get Richardson as a quarterback. Now you've got a quarterback who's mobile, but you also have a backup who could be mobile with Sam. And that's
basically what the Ravens have.
That's the way this league, and that's the way this league is going. So you want your backup to have some similar attributes as you do your starter.
I'm not laughing at you, Jack. Sorry, Basil.
No, I can see you're looking up. So
no, Basil in here putting a message about trading him to the Alouettes.
I read this, and I literally, as I was reading it, I read it completely different because my brain read this, and I saw I'm not a coach, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
Well, it's like you were talking about on that video. People read or people hear what they want to hear or what they expect. The thing I will say also, and that's the reason why I like Levis as well, is he's very mobile. The biggest downside is how strong is he? Diagnosing things and stuff, and then also he's 25. That's a huge. Which I get it, it's a quarterback, but the thing is if you go with that, you're just shorting your window of opportunity.
Well, that's another thing with Stetson Bennett. He's 25 too.
Right.
Yeah.
What's up, D?
What's up, D?
So, man,
Richardson, I tell you what, Richardson intrigues me though. He intrigues me. I know he's a big risk, but if he hits, wow.
Well, he's got to be a better risk than Jeff George was.
Is he a Jalen Hurts type guy? I don't know him very well, but the way I hear you guys talking,
he's a mix between Lamar Jackson and Lamar and Jay. He's all those guys. The kid's got an arm. He's got an arm better than Jalen Hurts. He's got an arm. He's got an arm comparable to Josh Allen.
He's got a big arm.
Yeah.
I said, they said he could sit down at the 30-yard line, sit on his ass, and throw the ball 70 yards.
So he could hypothetically overthrow Paris Campbell?
He probably could.
Oh, yeah. I'll be honest with you, Law. The best comparison I've heard, and it's stuck in my mind, is he's a healthy, younger Cam Newton. He's got his big body. He's got a super big arm. He's faster than Cam Newton.
Yeah, he runs 4.3.
The one thing I heard about him was the fact that he's looking to throw first. He's not looking to go out and running around. That's not what he does. He only runs when he has to. The pocket collapses or whatever. I know he's young. Then that's the thing. He's young. That's where. Well, so was Josh Allen. Look where he's at today.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Hit the broadside of a barn, standing 5 yards from him. So that's what we say. He's a risk, but man, his ceiling. Because when he does run, you get a couple of those. You get a couple of those plays where all the defensive guys take off with the receivers and got your back to you, and he would have scored on the one where Ryan only got 39 yards because this kid he's 240 pounds and he runs a 4.3. He's quick. He's quick.
That's what they say. Runs 4.3.
I see an awful lot of upside. Yeah, and I know there's always that, but that's a chance you take with any quarterback. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson's definitely the long-term play for sure. And
all right, D-Love,
Sam,
I'm going to answer yes. Sam Ellinger is going to have a longer career than Vince Young.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Really?
Vince Young's been doing it for a while.
Vince Young. Okay.
But I will say, Young is a better quarterback, but they both have a big problem, and it's a similar problem, and that's their stature. Except Bryce Young is actually smaller than Sam. You know what I mean? Great talent, but I cannot get over his measurables. I just can't. He's what, $180 and 5'10". So
Yeah.
Sam will stand next to him, and Sam go, "What's up, man?"
Yeah. How many NFL quarterbacks are there that have that stature?
There's only been one, and that's Drew Brees, and he was a once in a lifetime quarterback.
I'm thinking one, Tua.
Well, Tua, trips over his foot and gets a concussion. Yeah. So that's scary.
But that part's really, when you're looking at their size, comparable sizes and stuff. It just bothers me how small he really is. And he played at Alabama with a line. Of course, he couldn't see over the lines, waiting for the ball, 40 yards every time because he couldn't see the damn where the receivers were.
And I agree with this, Basil. But let me ask you, which quarterback, at any time, isn't one knee injury away from being a bust? You know what I'm saying? That when because you said these guys, bust up a knee or whatever. I mean, Deshaun Watson, he has avoided injuries remarkably. But if he was to injure a knee or whatever, he's I'm not gonna say he's a bust because of the record, what he's already put out there. But I think Richardson can become a good thrower, but the rushing side of it and the mobility and just the size and stature. I mean, remember how we used to have Jacoby Brissett be almost
Wikipedia
4 yards on a quarterback sneak? Anthony Richardson might be 5 yards every quarterback sneak, guaranteed.
Right. Well, let me ask you guys this. Okay, out of the quarterbacks in the draft, who would you take? If you had the number one pick and you got your choice, we move up, we take the number one pick. Who are you taking?
I'm not moving up.
No, I'm just saying if we did, if we moved up and if we had our choice, who would you take? Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Levis, Richardson.
I'm honestly on the C.J. Stroud because of I feel like he's been on that big stage. Plus, he's younger than Levis. Man, Levis throws a pretty ball. At first I was all about Levis the way through that, and I get it. I mean, you look at his play this year. Kentucky was a hot mess. Their offensive line actually was worse than what the Indianapolis Colts put on the field in the first few weeks. You know what I mean? So Kentucky was a mess, but this kid can throw the rock. He's one of those, diehard as far as just football runs through his veins. You know what I mean? But to my point, I would not trade up for any of these guys. We've talked about that. There's no way. If CJ's there or Levis is there, those are my top two for me personally. Richardson, I like Richardson because of the advantage of you can trade down and get more capital and then the mobility. But he's so raw. It's like he may be somebody that may have to sit for a year, and then you're still getting basically what you're getting this year with the Levis. So now you've got 2 years to get where Levis is already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just wonder what would we do? Who we're going to take?
Hold on, D-Love. Let me tell you something. Paris Campbell was top 10 in the NFL in yards of separation this year in the NFL. All right, he averaged 3.5 yards of separation.
Yeah.
Per route. Dude was always open. Sam underthrew him on a for sure touchdown throw. Right? Now, in Sam's favor, he had a defensive lineman in front of his face. And being that Sam is this tall and the defensive lineman was this tall, he had to throw it straight up in the air. But I mean, that's what you get from a 6'1" guy, quarterback. You get through those situations. You're going to have those situations, but Paris Campbell was open all the damn time, and it sucks. Yes, he had the 22.101, right? If I remember correctly, was his miles per hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is, I'd like to add to that is this draft, they've got some really good receivers, but they don't have any just absolute dogs. You know what I mean? They don't have anybody that's just going to hit the league and just,
That was last year.
Yeah, definitely. Last year and actually next year, like I said, I think.
Next year is going to be nasty.
Yeah. But this year, like I said, there's good receivers, but there's none of them that I would just sit there and forfeit a number 4 pick.
No, not at all.
And we definitely know Ballard won't.
I think this year's draft is like guys in the trenches, stuff like that. You got some good secondary.
Well, did you guys see that news out of Arizona today?
Yes, sir.
DeAndre wants out.
Yes, sir.
I already have a feeling that they were looking at that. Lawrence, you're not buying it.
He's 31. He's going to fall. I know he's really soon.
I don't know. I mean,
catches everything.
I mean, age is with wide receivers. Age is everything. It is a fact.
I want him for 2 years.
I mean, he'd be okay if it wasn't freaking as much money as he would cost.
Yes, sir.
But if I could get him for 12, 13 million for a year or two, I'd be okay because I'm not putting.
Yeah.
But if dude's gonna want 20 million a year, probably or more.
I just want the rest of his contract.
It's 2 years, $34 million.
I just want to buy out his contract.
But he's also said that with the trade, he's going to demand a
restructured deal,
mm-hmm.
an extension. Yeah,
he'll want 20 million a year at least.
After what happened last year,
Hill just got 30 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if 20 gets him where he wants to be honest with you. But the thing is I don't even understand why would we want to sit there and get a receiver when for the last couple, we haven't even found a way to get the ball down the field to the receiver.
We have to have a quarterback first before we worry about the receiver.
Yeah, and if we get a receiver, is he going to be able to do that in the first year? Is he going to be able? Is this offensive line, which I honestly think this offensive line next year, and maybe this is just me hoping, but I really think this next year, that was the thing. To me, what I got from Ballard's thing, his presser, that offensive line just really stuck in his craw. It really was something, and I love him when he said he's not giving up on that. But yeah, he's 30 mil. But like I said, he's going to want to. He's already said that he wants it an extension. So, is he going to be that? But we got to get the quarterback and some offensive line first, and then we'll worry about all the shiny toys.
James Dean, first off, I actually literally live 11 minutes away from James Dean's home, like his house, right? So just FYI,
I was like, what are we being serious about? Because he's not far off there with what he's saying. So
no, I get you, but no, when it comes to James Dean, that's cool. The name, I'm just saying, I live in Marion. He lived in Fairmount, so I actually family lived like 3 houses down from him. From his house.
That's cool as shit. That's cool. That's cool.
But no one here wants Sam as our starter.
Well, that's not
we're saying backup, but not starter.
No, D-Lo's all
I'm
about
a Patriot fan, and I don't want you to have him as your starter.
I know. D-Lo, I'm saying of us 5. Us 5. No one here would want him as a starter. A backup, yes. I think we're all in agreement.
Backup is good.
What
yes.
he's shown this year.
Yes.
With the improvement that he had. He could be a very viable long-term backup, but not a starter.
Correct.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if I even give him another extension. I mean, that is going to be how low can we get that extension? But now,
He's still
now you
got to
look at
play
our
for that
situation.
extension, right?
Huh?
He's still got to play for that extension.
That's why I say, yeah. And then even then, it's like, yeah. But the thing is Dean, we're looking at. If you don't look at Sam, then we got to look at Matt Ryan and Nick Foles, and we just don't want to. We did that a lot this year, so we're talking about the brightest thing in that room, not the solution by any means.
Basil, I got it one up on you. I actually used to work for a Holiday Inn, so just.
But was it in an Express?
Oh Lord!
I was a
back in the
banquet
day.
server, and it was the highest paying job I have ever had because I would get 15%. I would do like parties of 200 to 500 people. It'd be $30 a plate. I'm guaranteed 18% of that. I'd bring home $3,000 a week. So
Yeah,
and then that Holiday Inn closed down, and I lost my job, and I was like, crap.
Yeah.
James D says that's actually my name, but I bet you're tired of hearing that joke.
Awesome name.
I bet you're tired of hearing that joke then.
Yeah. But yeah, I've known James. I know family of his, so yeah.
The James Dean Festival. It's a great
Huge. There's like 3 car shows in my county every damn September because of James Dean Festival.
Yep.
My dad actually showed his car a couple years in that, and then he kept getting offers for it, and he's like, "No, I ain't taking it no more. I don't want any more offers for my car." Because he has a 70 Super B that's in, stock. So
I'm sure he got some nice offers for it.
Yeah.
Now, if you hit him up now, he might be like,
No, he still wouldn't. He's got that sucker in a garage.
No, I wouldn't
He never
either.
drives it. He's got it sitting in a garage under a tarp. He takes it out like once a month, drives it around for about a mile, and then goes and puts it back up.
You gotta drive him around, otherwise he'll rot, man.
That's the best mile of his month. Every month,
Trailers.
He's got that to look forward to.
Yeah. We lived in poverty. This is how much he will not sell. We lived in poverty my whole entire life growing up. Okay. But he had that car.
There you go.
That was the first car he ever bought.
Oh, shit.
And he kept that sucker.
Real quick, just want to remind you guys, we haven't mentioned it in a while, but appreciate you all hanging out with us. This is our normal Patreon. This is what we do on Patreon. For $5 a month, you guys can sit there every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We start hanging out here. I mean, some Wednesdays we go for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Other Wednesdays we'll go for 4 hours. Just really whatever the.
We're not doing a stream for 4 hours tonight.
No, sir. No, I know. But it just depends on what you guys want to do and stuff. But you get this, and you also get the behind the scenes look at Believe in Colts with Law and Gerard Powers and hopefully Rodney McLeod. But
I'll have Rodney for at least another month. So.
Okay.
I was going to ask you about that. I heard you say that he'll be on there for another month. I mean, where's he live at? Where's he live at? Philly? He lives in Philly.
He's in Philly. He's actually, I think he left for Philly yesterday.
Oh, did he?
Deep. The Bugatti's parked in the trailer. I haven't heard that name in a minute.
So you don't think Rodney will come back to the NFL?
I hope he does. I love Rodney McLeod as a person and a
I
player.
do too. I was so happy that he got that pick six. I was so happy
Really?
for him.
First one of his career too.
Yep.
That's freaking awesome.
Well, he kept saying over every week he wanted to get an interception. He wanted, it was so close. And then when he got that pick six, it was like, I don't care what happens in the game. He got to pick six.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he just sits down and realizes that this was a turd of a year, and he's just like ready, you know. And you know what? It doesn't have to be for any of that, you know, $5-6 million a year. Chris Ballard, make it happen. Pay the guy a little money. He definitely earned it last year, and probably would again this year.
Yeah, he definitely earned that $1.7 million contract that he had last year.
Yeah, if we're willing to pay Jacoby Brissett what we did for a follow-up year,
$24 million.
Yeah, we can
afford Rodney.
We can swing six just out of gratitude, you know.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
I really like what he brought to this team, and that's going to be another guy. To me, he was the Jack Doyle of that defensive squad. You know, Gilmore was the flash and stuff, but Rodney was the one who really just, you know, glued everything together for him.
And he had never played the box safety position in his entire career until this year.
Blew my mind when I heard him say that.
And he played at a Pro Bowl level, in my opinion, as a box safety.
Definitely.
You know? D-Love saying it's official. He will be back. So I hope you're right, D-Love.
Oh, so do I. We need him.
Yeah.
His he says but not for six. That's silly. His when I went on Spot Track earlier this year and looked up what he was worth, it said 7.1 is what his play would have earned him this past year. So yeah,
we need all those defensive guys back. We need that defense back.
The only thing that makes me, you know, I want him back in the league for sure. But if he, you know, I would even be on board if he went and found. He's one of those guys that if he went and found a team, whether it was back at Philly or whatever, to make a legitimate run at a bowl, you know, to make a legitimate run to getting a ring. I would love to see that guy get another Super Bowl ring.
I think a lot of it would have to do with the way the last episode that I had with him went. And the way he was talking about how, you know, great the relationships that he had with because I'm sorry, Chuck, as spoilers, that was the biggest thing that he had gotten from this past year with the Colts is, you know, friends, jerseys, signed jerseys from guys, you know, phone numbers, stuff like that, that his relationship, he got a new brotherhood, and he made a big point about that. I think the only way he comes back, and this is my own opinion, I'm not speaking for Rodney at all, okay, so I want to put that out there.
But everybody blow up his Twitter.
If Gus Bradley is held back and we keep the main pieces of our defense here, you know, I think that's the only way that Rodney would probably stay, is so that he would still have that same group to play with.
Hey, I'm down for that. Just sprinkle some more talent into that room or into that side of the ball.
Besides Rodney, who else is a free agent on the defensive side?
Okay.
Bobby, I know that.
Blackman, Tyquan Lewis, Isaiah Rogers Sr.
Isaiah's a free agent?
I'm pretty sure. I'm just trying to name some names while Lawrence clicks it up on his thing.
Hold on.
Yeah, Bobby Okereke, everybody knows that he's free agent.
Yeah.
EJ Speed as well as a free agent.
EJ, I forgot about him.
Byron Cowart, EJ Speed,
Yep.
Harris Campbell, Bobby Okereke, Yannick Ngakoue, Chase, obviously, McLaughlin, Tony Brown, obviously Matt Hack, Armani Watts, Dennis Kelly. These are all of our free agents. Ben Banigou.
You have Cowart? I didn't know that.
Rodney
Ben
McLeod, Ashton Doolin.
Refund, my guy. You owe us a refund.
Yeah. Ashton Doolin is the free agent. Tyquan Lewis, as you said. Brandon Faison. Matt Pryor.
Bye.
Don't let the door hit you. Where the good Lord splits you.
Take that money and run.
As a matter of fact, you can give me $6 million of that back.
God.
Yeah, he needs no mind.
Experiment gone wrong.
We're public, so I'm just gonna keep it nice. Keep the gloves on.
Ben got to go like 2 years ago.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will say, in the limited snaps that he had this year, he looked a lot better than what he has in the past. Later in the season, I had seen some of his, play. I actually saw him kind of flash a little bit occasionally. I don't think that's him. I think you give credit to Nate Ollie on that. And the fact that Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner was probably taking on 5 guys just between the two, and he was a free runner.
Well, Defoe needs to take that scooter back from him. Defoe needs to take that scooter back from him.
Let me get this straight, Lawrence. When you said you seen him flash, it was like this, right? Because I am telling you what, man. I understand.
No, he did not pull a Colts offensive line. No. Okay. He did not do one of those streaking things on Sports Illustrated,
Peyton Manning's favorite thing his offensive line ever did.
Do 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 do. Oh.
Basil, sometimes I think you just put things in there just to. I can't disagree with that more. That guy was all up and down the defensive line. They tried him everywhere, and just nothing.
$20 says, I got $20 says he'll be a Chicago Bear next year.
Well, they can have him.
They got over $100 million in salary or in cap space, so
$20. He gets a 1-year prove-it deal with Matt Eberflus because Matt loved Ben Banigou. It's the only reason why I think that he stuck around so long. Does Yannick come back? Only if Gus stays the DC.
Yeah. And
what actually happened? What injury happened to Yannick? I know they said it was a throat injury, but didn't it happen in practice? It didn't happen during a game.
Well, that was a rumor.
Somebody's favorite player chopped him in the throat. I'm not going to mention whose favorite player.
I thought it was Big Q.
Somebody's favorite player chopped him in the throat.
Are you sure of that? Because I've been told that was false accusations.
That's what I heard from a player.
Okay.
So another
because
player.
I know I heard that was false.
No, I heard another player tell me that. So, but it was obviously it was completely by accident. The hand went up, and it just went a little too high, and it slipped up during the thing. It just slipped, which happens. You're practicing, you're hot, you're sweaty. You know what I mean? Shit like that happens. Yannick's not the only guy ever to have that happen. Too, we've had other guys that's went out with the throat injury from getting hit in the throat.
Deep, holy crap!
Yannick was like on pace to have.
On the screen.
Yannick was on pace to have his best career ever with the Colts.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, but you hear what I said.
Best year of his career.
Q was sat there. He's like, Q took that strong left arm of his. And he's like, "You're not taking away our draft pick."
What do you end up with? 9.5 sacks?
I think so, something like that.
Yeah.
And he was, I think, 12 or 14 is his most, but it's not just sacks. It's quarterback hits, pressures, TFLs,
tackles.
His list was high,
right.
Across the board. Defoe's overall was better, but it's Defoe, Defoe's
and I wish people would stop saying, "Oh, we should trade Defoe." Stop it. We are not trading Defoe.
Nope. We're going to have 53 Defoes on the team, as Chris Ballard said he wanted.
Yep, I'd be all right with that.
And I'll be okay with it. Me and Chuck's already discussed. We're going to run 11 defos out there. They're all going to play tight formation on offense. It's going to be a quarterback sneak every play.
And
we're
he
just
won't
going
get
to
touched.
flip out different defos every play, so he's always fresh.
Yeah, we had a good lengthy conversation about this in Discord the other day.
Yes, we did.
He would not get touched. He'd make a touchdown every time.
Every time.
Who would want to have to tackle through defos just to get to
Defo.
defos to tackle him?
Would you?
Jeffrey Simmons, we all do it from the Titans. I bet he would. He just seems like a very smart guy.
There is no way we can get rid of him. No
Okay.
way.
So in the interview that I had with Dio Odengbo on Monday, Dio likes playing the edge on first and second down, but he prefers in obvious pass situations, he wants to be on the inside. So he says that's just where he likes to be.
Well,
That's
it's playing to
interesting.
his strengths. He knows he's not a speed rusher. He knows he's not a super bender. You know, he's the guy that you go out there, you get pressure with. He gets those cleanup sacks, but he also is really good at stopping the run. And
That would be the nastiest defensive line in the NFL.
Yeah, it would be. Yes, it would
And
be.
you know Chris Ballard loves him some defensive line.
So my question is,
It ain't going to happen, but
do you go with Quiddy or do you go with Dio as your fourth?
With Jalen Carter on the line?
Yeah. Because I think that would make those two interchangeable like crazy.
I think it would be. I think that would be a situation where you would interchange them.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think Dio, with his flexibility and maneuverability the way Depot has, I think he could get better pass rush, in my opinion, than Quiddy. I think Quiddy's a better guy against the run.
Well, if that scenario takes place and we end up taking Jalen Carter at number 4, that means that Chris Ballard fell in love with Anthony Richardson, and he's taken him later in the first round.
Or he got himself a free agent, a young free agent, to fill that spot.
As long as it's not Derek Carr.
I said a young free agent.
I'd say as long as it's not Derek Carr, it's fine.
These guys.
3-4. I do not want to switch back. I don't want to go through that transition again.
No. We're not built for a 3-4 technically. You need 350-pound linebackers for a 3-4. We have none. Not a single one. All we have is light, quick linebackers.
We're built for speed.
Built for speed,
DP did.
We were that way
did get some play at edge.
Yes, we saw Defoe everywhere. We saw Defoe playing nickelback. All right. He played freaking nickel for a while. Remember the play? I pointed it out. I was like, this son of a bitch just dropped into coverage. What the hell is Defoe dropping in coverage for?
Yeah. And it was on fourth down. It was on a fourth down play.
And 2 games before that, I pointed out, why the F is Grover Stewart dropping into coverage?
The difference this year, Deep, was that Defoe, I felt like last year with Eberflus, I felt like it was necessary to move Defoe out to the edge just to try to give him an opportunity. Yeah. This year, I felt like it was more of just a chemistry, more of a we're just doing this to keep him guessing type of thing. But he was productive interior, he was productive out there. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think he got 2 sacks from the edge. One of them was on a stump. I remember for sure.
I don't want a 3-4 base either. Okay. You've got lots of jokes, Basil.
Yeah, basically.
Are you a funny guy?
Yeah, I have very strong opinions, but they're just opinions, and I will admit they might be strong opinions, but they're my opinions,
Your opinion.
and I will respect honest opinions from someone.
Absolutely.
Whether it's Twitter here, chat, whatever, I respect honest opinions. Don't come in here and tell me that Sam Ellinger is the next freaking, Pro Bowler for the Colts, because that's BS, and we all know that.
What's up, Dennis Douglas?
What up, Dennis?
I hope during all this transition at some point, I really hope we keep Gus and the defense keep it intact. Like I say, we go through all that transition again in 2 or 3 years, getting players that you got to have and all that. And not a lot of people like they not a lot of people played 4-3.
Sorry.
I think that would help a lot. The defense, but basically would have the same coach they had last year. Now you got a new head coach, and your new offensive coordinator, hopefully with a new quarterback. Well, it's going to be a new quarterback somewhere. Anyway, it'll be new to us, and I'm getting tired of the retread stuff. It's been tried, and
I don't want to retread with an old. I mean, there's a difference between a retreading an older quarterback and retreading a guy that's on the rise. Like Carson Wentz, he was a younger quarterback, but he wasn't on the rise when we acquired him. We were hoping to get him and make him the guy he wants.
Right.
If we get a guy that's on the rise and young, I'm good with that. That's
like you said,
a retread. That's trading it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
yeah, but I know it's killing him. I know it's killing him.
Like you said, though, like with Carson, if Carson would have worked, he could have been a 5-6 year, quarterback for us if he would have worked. The idea, if he would have worked, it would have been good. We wouldn't be having this conversation. So.
Yeah. Lawrence is talking more of the nature, I think, of a Daniel Jones and stuff. I know it was killing him, so I'll say it for him.
I wasn't going to mention it.
I agree with you. I agree with you on your assessment of Daniel Jones, but I don't think there's any way in hell the Giants.
I don't either. I think we have just as much chance of getting Daniel Jones as we do Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But if there is a freaking chance, I'd take that chance in a heartbeat.
So who else out there kind of meets your criteria? Who could we? Say if we did get an Anthony Richardson and we need that quarterback, Brock Purdy.
Trevor Lawrence.
We can't get
Trevor
him.
Lawrence.
We can't. The Jacksonville Jaguars would not give us Trevor Lawrence, but I'd be okay with that.
Oh, who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to be looking at Trevor Lawrence the next 15 years. Y'all got to remember this. We're going to be on the backside of Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars for a while.
I like Gardner Minshew. I love Gardner Minshew.
Baker Mayfield is one of those I wouldn't mind taking a shot with. I wouldn't put all my eggs in the basket, but I wouldn't mind grabbing him, put him with a rookie, see who wins out. That's what I would do with Baker, because I think Baker is an incredibly high upside. And he's young.
I love Minshew.
I will say that
I'm sorry, Dennis. I love Minshew. Minshew is Minshew is awesome.
That's the first one of the night. All right. Sorry.
2 hours in, it's the first F-bomb.
There you go.
What about
Jordan? I'm sorry.
You're fine, Matt. Like I said, we're doing okay. But I will say that for me, Baker Mayfield, whatever. It's not long term at all. But I think Ballard made it real clear that Mayfield is not in the future as long as he's making the decision.
No.
I think LA is going to stay with him.
I think they should. At least sign him to an extension.
Yeah, he ain't going to cost much. You know what I mean?
No, he's not.
Exactly my point.
Yeah, and if he continues to, this off season, in 2023 off season during like training camp and stuff, it could be between him and Stafford, they'll probably be heading it up, seeing who's better.
Yeah.
Do you think that Mayfield would, if he would to resign, do you think it would be like really heavily incentive laden? You know what I mean? We're just if you do this.
If I was Baker, I would take an incentive laden.
Yeah.
I mean, I would want a fair base. I would want 10, 15 million base as Baker because I think he is at minimum worth that. You know what I mean? But
does LA have that much money?
Probably in the bank.
What
They
about
might
Jordan
have
Love?
to cash their savings bonds.
What about Jordan Love?
No.
I've never
He's
really
on
seen
my
him
bottom
play.
tier.
I've
He's
never
one of
really-
those
I
guys
saw only
I
one
wouldn't
game out of
trade
him.
for unless it's like
Nope.
a late round draft pick. And there is no way on God's green earth that I would put, 3 eggs of him in my basket.
You guys know I
Right.
won't touch. I won't touch Bryce Young with a 10-foot pole. But I will say the other 3 quarterbacks that we've talked about heavily tonight, I would take all 3 of them over Jordan Love. Me personally.
Okay.
I've only seen one decent game out of Jordan Love, and it was only half a game.
I was gonna say I've never really seen him play. I've seen him come in and play a down or 2 or whatever, but
That's what it was.
yeah, I've never seen him play a whole game.
Colts fans in general need to prepare themselves for a situation. And that
gonna
is
take
the
time.
realization that 75% of drafted quarterbacks fail.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Shame.
So
Had a few of them.
To Dennis's point, though, and I'm going to put
Yes.
words on, you're going to fail 100% of the time if you don't
if you
take
don't
the
try.
time. Yeah,
I
you know.
get that. I get that. 100. Can't win the lottery unless you buy a ticket, right? I understand that.
It's
would
gonna
not take Jimmy G.
whoever we get, it's gonna take time. It's gonna
Okay,
take time.
here it is. I wouldn't take Jimmy G for nothing. He's on a San Francisco 49er team, and his last name it means Jimmy Glass, okay? He gets hurt almost every season. You guys need to learn that.
Yeah, 2 reasons. One is the injury issues, Matt. I agree with you. You cannot revoke that at all.
No, that's
And
the
the
problem.
second reason is his accuracy drops 75% on any pass over 15 yards.
Correct.
And let's be
so
honest. With this offensive line that we put together this last year, Jimmy G would have died before he got
Amen.
halfway through the season.
Amen.
He would have just
Amen.
been in traction, and they're like, what do we do about this guy?
but we could have saved his life if we'd have done what you said, and we'll just go ahead and go get Mike McGlinchey. Screw it. Since we're getting
there you
him,
go.
we might as well get Mike McGlinchey too while we're there at the 49ers. Just get him in a
Jimmy looks good on the Niners. Of course he does, man.
But let's be honest. We all
Any
know
quarterback.
we all know that
Purdy looks good on the Niners.
Jimmy G and Tom are all going to go meet up with what's his name there at McDaniel's there in Las Vegas. So they're getting
God.
the band back together.
That's where Brady's going.
I wouldn't doubt it. I honestly would not doubt it.
Jimmy G's like, I'll ride it out here for a year. Let Tom have a swan song or whatever.
And I'll tell you what, the Raiders' offensive line, Jimmy G will last 2 weeks of training camp.
Yep.
I hear everybody sitting there
about
going,
right.
Even with the red
About
shirt
right.
on.
Yep.
and that's like I hear everybody sitting there going, Las Vegas is perfect for Tom. He's got, now I'm going to start
Josh
drawing a blank.
Jacobs and all the receivers.
Yeah, and they're talking about all the receivers and the tight end and all that, and I'm like, yes, but they don't have an O-line. Tom is not a fan. We seen this year, the degradation in the O-line for Tampa Bay. He didn't like it. He was not a fan.
Is that a butt of your joke?
Yeah,
Jimmy G is a winner. I will not lie with that. But you know what?
I hate it.
So was Sam Ellinger. He was a winner,
Well,
granted,
Brock
Jimmy G
Purdy
did-
is a winner in the same freaking system.
System. Yep. And he's Mr. Insignificant.
Mr. Irrelevant. That's
Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Relevant. Thank you. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah.
right. Nope. That's
Every single 49er quarterback over the last 5 years that has came in to replace Jimmy G at quarterback has succeeded in that 49ers offensive scheme. And there's been like 5 of them.
all right. So we need to go out and get Shanahan somehow, some way. We need to lure Shanahan away from the 49ers.
No, that's why I kept talking about Slowett. He's the
Yeah.
guy that's been the passing game coordinator for the last 7 years over there.
Yep. Absolutely.
Josh,
Bobby Slowett.
Matt.
It's pretty coordinated too.
Mm-hmm.
Has he been asked for an interview by anybody else?
I
know?
doubt it. He's kind of under the
Not
radar
yet.
right now.
Yep.
Just like
People
the
look for
defensive
offensive
line coach.
coordinator
The
and
defensive line coach of the Niners is
D'Amico.
under
Oh,
the
no,
radar, and I can't believe he's under the radar.
Yeah, but let's put it this way, Tom. The last week or the week before, when Lauren sat there and asked me, he's like, he said that name. I was sitting there thinking, like, what'd you call me? I didn't have it. I didn't know who he was talking about. He's like, and I'm like, what'd you call me?
I've never heard of him.
Technically, if you want to go there, Josh, Jimmy G ain't won jack either. He threw away the Super Bowl. Literally overthrew everybody in the Super Bowl to win the game. He had a wide open tight end.
Yeah, say Kelsey. Not Kelsey.
And Kittle.
And Kittle.
20 yards down.
Yep, he threw
no
overthrew
one
Kittle.
within 10 yards of him. And if he had made that pass, game was over. And he overthrew him. So,
Boy, did that remind me of a game I remember from back in the past when Burt Jones overthrew Raymond Chester. We'd have won that damn game, and we wouldn't have this. I wouldn't be looking at this damn ghost to the post crap every time I turn around watching my YouTube videos, because that play wouldn't have happened. Freaking, he was so damn wide open, it was just unbelievable. And overthrew, and the guy was 6'6" or 6'7". Chester was a big tight end, and I mean overthrew him by 2 feet. And it was like the wind out of the wind. I could feel the wind from Memorial Stadium when that pass hit the ground. Same thing, like I said, that would have won. That would put us in the continued on in the playoffs.
Dennis,
A little bit of Colts history there for you guys.
Dennis, we talked about that earlier, so I'll just answer real quick. Sam, that's it. And he's under contract, and the other 2 that are under contract are not an option.
Poor Matt. What a way to go out.
What?
No, Matt Ryan, not you, Matt.
Different Matt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I sure hate it for Matt Ryan, really. Yeah, just too bad.
John Fox's role, let me pull that one up because that's something I haven't talked about. Sure it is.
Isn't he one of those assistants to the assistant?
Yeah, John Fox's role was basically he was somebody here trying to diversify Gus Bradley's scheme a little bit, trying to give him, John Fox was more of a 3-4 cat, and he was just sort of giving them, what do they call that? Recommendations and stuff, So he was just an advisor more than anything. He was a quality control, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he was just a guy that was a voice behind the scenes during the, not during the games, but during the rest of the week.
I'm curious if Philly will even give permission for Slowick to interview with us.
I think he would sit there because do you really think Sirianni is going to be like, no, you can't advance your career? I think Sirianni is going to be like, look, these are the same plan. He's gonna sell them, and he's gonna be like, let's Rochambeau for it. You know what I mean? If I win, you don't go. Yeah, I definitely think Sirianni is going to make very clear, his feelings on it. So.
You think? Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah, Dennis, I know Matt Ryan says he's still up, but I think the Colts are like, yeah, Chris Ballard's like, yeah, he's still got some good football in him. I just really hope the rest of that sentence is
For another team.
Not here. It's just not here.
For another team.
Which I feel like a hypocrite because I was totally on board with the Matt Ryan signing and everything at the beginning of the season. But man,
I was too.
But I wasn't expecting
I was too.
It looked like crap.
Yeah.
And that's what cracks him up because you listen to all these radio guys and pundits and everybody now, and they're all, just all against Matt and this horrible and all that. But by God, when we brought Matt in, everybody was for it. They thought he was going to be, including myself, they thought he was going to be the answer. But now it's like, nope.
Charles,
I'm not anymore. I'm not anything that coming out of Atlanta. I'm done with.
Charles Hill, what's up, guy? Appreciate you being in here. He says, I know the Colts will draft a quarterback. Will the Colts sign a free agent quarterback? My hopes is they'll have to. That's my hopes. I hope that neither Matt Ryan nor Nick Foles will be here next year, even though Foles has signed a 3-year deal, if I remember correctly. 2-year deal. Either way, he's scheduled to be here next year. I don't want him here. Dude is awful.
And the upside to that was that he signed here to play under Frank Reich, and we all know Reich's not here, so that.
Well, he really doesn't hurt us if we let him go. I mean, he's not.
What, $1.5 million, isn't it? Or
I was okay with Foles being here originally.
Yeah.
But and you know what? He didn't look as bad as he did in training camp as he did in the game. But the thing that got him in trouble was he held the damn ball so long. Right? I know. But he holds the ball and we didn't notice his utter and complete lack of mobility because he never ran the ball, during training camp. And in the games you look at him and you're like, dude, take the bricks out of your pockets. Oh my God. Come on.
What happened to Philly?
I mean, you have seen the shoes? What the hell?
That guy ran for a pass and scored a touchdown. I mean, what happened to him?
Well, he left it all on the line on that Philly special.
I know, no shit.
He pulled
if it was a foot race between Braden Smith and Nick Foles, I'm pretty sure I'm putting money on Braden Smith.
It
really is.
I think Tom Brady got faster than him.
It's down the field with the running backs, when those happen. So Nick Foles wouldn't be able. Good Lord, man. You know what I'm reminded of every time Nick Foles pulls the ball down and takes off?
He never took off. He just stayed there and got sacked.
He had an 8-yard run. 8-yard run.
My bad.
But every time
Tom Brady
Nick
was running
Foles kind
all
of
the
try to
time.
move and take off, that picture of the quarterback we had last
Phillip Rivers?
Phillip Rivers. With the picture of Phillip Rivers on his back with his feet up in there. Trying to make the tackle on the interception return.
Phillip's like, I'll start like this, and I'll still get up. And
you guys get him over here and he can trip over me.
That was funny.
I think that this. I don't think that was the move because you just brought in Jeff Saturday. He was trying to win over, he was trying to figure things out. And Matt Ryan, I mean, as much grief as we're giving him and stuff, I'm still not convinced that Matt Ryan's still not the best quarterback of the three. I'm not nearly as convinced as I was going into this thing. But, I mean, I'm not convinced that Matt Ryan wasn't still the best, but at least Sam has got youth. If we could get him to replicate the growth that he had from last year to this year, And not to mention he's a heck of a lot cheaper. Yeah, I'm all about it. That's where I'm like saying
He's a rookie contract.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But and the fact that he can run the ball, the fact that Sam, if all else fails, he can get you some yards with his feet.
What's up, ATV 45? Guys, love the podcast. Appreciate you. Would you guys take CJ Stroud over Ellinger, Scott Tolzien, and Jacoby Brissett?
Yes.
Yep.
I would take Foles over Scott Tolzien.
Oh Lord.
Stroud. You mean Stroud, right?
No, I'd take Foles over Scott Tolzien.
I don't know, but all right, I think you got carried away here, guys. What say
I
you?
don't know.
What say you?
Do you remember Scott Tolzien's play?
Yeah, I remember.
I absolutely remember. But at least then we weren't picking fourth, we were picking first. Oh, mercy.
Oh my
I guess
God.
we're gonna look at it that way.
If we're going for a tank, then yes, I'll take Scott Tolzien.
He's the commander.
Oh, that'll guarantee we get Marvin Harrison Jr. if we bring Scott back.
We might.
Whew.
Wow.
No, we're gonna get the quarterback out of USC.
We'll get Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Here's-
both. That's how bad we'll
That's how
play.
bad we be.
That's right.
The league would give us mercy and give us the first 2 picks.
All I say is keep Danny O out of it. Danny O, stay away from it. Because if you guys remember right, we almost lost it because of his better play.
Oh,
You know what? Don Majkowski, the Magic Man, actually had some good games during his career. You know,
In Green
so
Bay.
I will be okay with that.
Green Bay.
Now, I mean, you know, he's not a high-end quarterback, but he was I think I'd take Painter over Scott Tolzien.
I would take Jeff George over Scott Tolzien. And I hate Jeff George.
Oh,
All right.
God. Whew.
Jeez.
Well, hell, let's just bring Harbaugh back and he can be quarterback. Hell with the coach. We'll just
I would take Jim Harbaugh as is right now over Scott Tolzien in his prime. Okay.
I will not. I don't have a heart condition, but I'm pretty sure that would push the limits for me. That game could be on the edge of my seat. And I was in my 20s when that was happening.
Well, what do you mean? You're going to be the head coach of this this wonderful team we're putting together.
Yeah.
Dude, we get 5-yard penalties every other down because he'd be like, timeout every other down.
I ran out of those
Help
after the
on the
first
big
10
screen.
minutes.
Oh, Lord. Well, the Colts game lasted 8 hours because they had every other down. Oh,
Now,
shit.
V-Love, I know you meant Tolzien, but we're bringing up authors now and Tolkien.
Yeah, I know. Tolkien?
Have a conversation.
Can he
I'll
play
take
quarterback?
J.R.R. Tolkien over Scott Tolzien.
Zine, I know. I love Tolkien. Shit.
Oh, Lord.
Hold on. I'll take J.R.R. Tolkien today as is.
As is. Yep, me too. As is. Yeah. No shit.
Dig him up. Bring him here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good Lord.
Now,
He's got a hell of a lot more fans.
Tolkien, or are we talking? Exactly.
Strong writing
this
hand.
You can tell it's been over 2 hours because I am loopy tired.
Yeah.
Oh, this is when it gets interesting. What do you mean? Oh,
That's when the fun begins.
exactly. This is worth that $5 a month right here. This is when it gets fun.
Yeah, let's do
Between
another
the second and the third
Patreon,
hour.
push, guys. Tom, why
Yes.
don't you explain to these guys You know,
$5 a month, you get to enjoy. You get to enjoy this wonderful group of people sitting around, bringing up blasts from the past from the Colts. Scott Tolzien, Jeff George, who else? My goodness. But no, it's a great way for Colts fans, Patriots fans, football fans, just to get together, shoot the shit, talk about football, talk about whatever. And it's only $5 a month. Plus, you get the content that Lawrence puts out for Believe, the stuff that you don't see on the regular videos, the behind-the-scenes stuff. It's awesome. It's well worth it. Well worth it.
Yeah, right now, hell, since Tuesday I put that out. You already know Rodney McLeod's picks for the playoffs. I ain't even posted that because I ain't even recorded that yet with Gerard Powers, and that's supposed to be clipped in with Gerard Powers later.
And here's breaking news,
yet, and you guys already know it.
If you join the Patreon tonight, you'll get an autographed Scott Tolzien jersey.
Sold.
We're trying to get them to sign up. What are you doing? We're trying to get people to sign up. All of a sudden, we just went from 35 to 18. What are you doing?
The signature might look a little weird, though. Okay, I just FYI.
Yeah, don't get it authenticated.
Yeah.
Not that everybody know what it looked like anyway.
I forget what number he was.
Have a good one,
Come
Dennis.
on, guys.
Appreciate
Keep
you,
it up.
Dennis.
Good work.
Have a good one.
Hey, look.
Have a good night, Dennis.
Speaking of, I'm talking about the old folk, Scott Tolzien. Anyway, I only live 70 miles from Burt Jones. You remember Burt Jones? I know you guys don't have a clue.
He's still alive.
I see the replay.
Yes, he's still alive.
I am surprised he's still alive, but
Yeah, he's not that damn old. Jesus Christ, man.
Jack's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
he was playing before I was born.
Yeah, he came out in 73.
I was born in '76.
Burt had a hell of an arm.
Okay, I was 2 years old when that came in.
That puts him in his 70s. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a,
Anyway, he run a lumber mill. Been running a lumber mill since he retired.
nice.
His folks.
What year did he retire, Jack?
Well, he ended up retiring.
Because he never came to Indy.
Oh no. He in '77, the year that everybody predicted the Baltimore Colts to go to the Super Bowl and win it after we'd gone to the playoffs 3 years in a row, was he got his shoulder tore up by a Seattle Seahawk during the preseason and didn't play a whole lot. He did play a few games, and if you ever go back and just kind of look at his history, you can see the game. There's a particular Monday night game that he played. I mean, he came off holding his arm, and it was just hanging and all that kind of shit. Throws a 45-yard pass that probably didn't get, 8 feet off the ground. I mean, that thing he just zipped this football. It was amazing how he could do that. But anyway, he, 2 years later, so about 79, they traded him to the Rams, and he got his neck broken.
So our offensive line was playing back then.
Yeah, plus Burt had a set of wheels on him too, so he moved. He moved around, and if he hadn't got his shoulder screwed up that year, he would have had a long career, and he would be in the brackets of the Johnny Hughes and the Peyton Mannings. Prior to Peyton Manning, I mean, the kid was just awesome.
From what I understood, he was kind of in the bracket of like a Staubach. That's what I was understanding.
He had a bigger arm than Staubach did.
But I mean, just kind of, in that whole
way. He like I say, he could scramble around when he needed to, and he was pretty elusive, but he also had sometimes had a tendency of trying to run somebody else over. And that didn't always work out for him real well. But I mean, he was a
bigger quarterback. He wasn't small. He was a big quarterback.
No, he was 6'3", I believe it was, and I don't know, 220. maybe that heavy. I don't know if he's quite that heavy, but yeah, he was. I mean, he was something else. And like I said, that we went to the playoffs 3 years in a row, and one of those was that Oakland one, and then 2 at Pittsburgh. Oh God, I'm going to talk about those. Pittsburgh, always Pittsburgh. Since Terry Bradshaw came along, we haven't beat Pittsburgh, I don't think. Sure the hell doesn't seem like it. But then, like I said, all the pre, of course, you got to remember back in the days, you went to the grocery store and bought magazines that had the whole updates of the NFL and shit, because there was no such thing as, you had, Sports Center and all that crap. That wasn't even a thought in somebody's eye yet.
Yep.
Anyway, and the Colts were predicted to win the Super Bowl that year, and he went down in the preseason, and the last game of the preseason, they played 4 preseason games back then, and the last of the preseason games when he got hurt. And I used to know the Seahawk that did it to him, because I had a pretty bad taste in my mouth. And he's actually one of the more popular. Was one of the most celebrated Seahawks from back in the day. He was a good defensive. He was a defensive back. But anyway, but yeah, and we went through a lot of years after that with God knows what for quarterbacks. Well, all the way through until after we moved to Indy, basically.
And it didn't get much better when we moved to Indy.
It didn't get a hell of a lot better. It really didn't.
No, let's see. We had Mike Pagel. We had Art Schleister, Jeff George, Jack Trudeau,
and a few others.
Chris, what was Chris?
Chandler.
Chris Chandler.
Yeah, he goes down to Atlanta and takes them to the Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, I know.
The worst part about being a
that was probably the Jeff George trade.
What's that, Loyalist?
The worst part about being an Indianapolis Colts fan was I remember sitting there watching it, and then they would always show clips of the Baltimore Colts and all the success and stuff. Then I'm watching the game, and then they'd show some more clips, and I'm like, we got gypped. I kept watching this game. What is going on? You hear about playoffs, and and you hear Johnny U and stuff, and all of a sudden, I'm just like, why is this one? And then Eugene Daniel came out and saved my spirit and my soul. I was like, oh, this dude's electric.
Eugene Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Also Peyton Manning.
You guys can play this game, and I mean play it well.
Well, yeah, Peyton is definitely the one that turned this into a football town.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Before Peyton, it was always IU basketball, the Pacers, the 500.
Yeah.
Colts were last.
The only people that heard of the Colts were either people in Indy or
the Brickyard
that moved with them, and went to,
I would say Jim Harbaugh started the conversation, but like you said, when this team started finding success with Peyton Manning and Edgerrin James and all those cats, that's when this thing really took root for sure.
Jack, I was looking it up, and it said that the last preseason game against the Lions is where he got his shoulder separated, and then it got re-separated against the Jets.
Man. Yeah.
August 25th, the last preseason game.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
1979.
That's national media, and we've seen what they did with Chris Ballard.
Yeah, they lie all the time anyhow. I mean.
I loved how you
pointed
that out earlier. I loved how you pointed that out because it was dead spot on. He did not say what they're saying.
No,
he said no.
No, that national media loves to leave out words and add words to fit narratives in what they want.
And cut clips. They always like to cut it when there's like, oh, there's the whole second half of the. I mean, you can see his mouth moving to the next word. Come on, it's like.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Indy Ice at the fairgrounds.
Hockey.
Old hockey games. Yep.
My granddad used to go. I've never seen one or part of it or anything. But my granddad, that and wrestling, he used to always go watch Dick the Bruiser and that whole crew and stuff.
Oh Lord, Dick the Bruiser.
My granddad had his, what was it? What was his antithesis or the guy that the anti
Oh, well, Dick the Bruiser always would face Ernie Ladd or the Sheik, the Iron Sheik,
Oh man.
or, oh, hell.
Was Randy Rhodes? Was that Dusty Boy Randy Rhodes? Was that during Dick the Bruiser? Or was that
Dusty Rhodes?
Dusty Rhodes?
Dusty Rhodes?
Yeah, I remember Dusty
Because
Rhodes.
I think that's
I
who,
remember Dusty Rhodes.
I think Dusty Rhodes is who just broke my granddad's nose all across his face.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because back then, you know, they'd sit out there, and my granddad was a heavy drinker, so he'd get a little belligerent. And Dusty Rhodes didn't like something that was said.
I think he has a son named Dustin that also wrestled.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Well,
First,
Big Cat Ernie Ladd. Boy, I remember him playing football.
Yep, he was. He was a football
Oh,
player.
I am.
ATV, I don't go. I took all my kids.
Yes,
to
I have seen the Peyton Manning statue. I've stood by it and had my picture taken next to it.
every game I go by and I tap it. Just, you know, well, unfortunately for me, because of my financial situation, it's normally preseason games, but I still go out and tap it.
You do what you can.
Reincarnate something here, my guy.
Yeah, it's you know, it's hard to have.
I'll walk out and go tap it real fast. Oh.
See if Peyton's out there. See if Peyton's out there. Maybe he'll get lucky. He might be out there.
Just don't ask him for directions in the stadium, because they'll send you the longest way around.
Yeah. He'll send me to the casino and tell me always bet on 18.
18. Yeah.
It's guys, 2.5 hours in. This has been fun, but I got to run. I don't know, Chuck. Are you wanting to stay around a little while longer?
My son, he's got an early day. We got to be at school super early. So
Now, the three of you guys are welcome to stick around. Those of you still watching, I'm going to have to end the live stream. But if you're part of Patreon and you're in here, the good thing about that is, you know, you can come in and actually click on the link for the Patreon, the StreamYard. They can stay after we leave and turn the stream off and continue to talk and hang out. So, but 2.5 hours today, that's my limit. Appreciate everybody being in here. Thanks so much. Had a lot of fun.
I do want to say real quick, guys, if you don't feel like, oh, I don't have the gear for the camera work or whatever and all that stuff, it's fine. First off, your phone will work just fine. But if you don't want to get on here, you can still get in the chat and stuff, because we do this about once a month here on have a good one, D-Love. We do this once a month or so here on YouTube for now. But then, like I said, the other days you can get in the chat. And the nice thing is then you're not competing against a bunch of other people. Now you just got Patreon members who are competing against.
Yeah, and usually it's just a few Patreon members in the chat, 2 or 3 of them probably, you know, and then we probably have anywhere between 5 and 9 people, you know, in here on video hanging out. So.
And you don't have to have any fancy things, because look at me. I'm not a Muppet. I'm actually a human being down here. But I know by the lousy camera I've got on my laptop, I look more like, you know, a Muppet than anything else.
All that matters is the beard.
In the world anyway, you know.
All that matters is the beard makes it all in there, Jack. That's all that matters.
That's all it works.
All right.
That'll work.
Now we got a Muppet in the audience. Okay. I like that.
So are you Statler or Waldorf?
Waldorf.
Waldorf? Okay. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I ain't got a clue. I like the name.
The two Muppets that sit up in the balcony on the Muppet Show and just sit there and just talk smack the whole time.
Yes.
Hey,
Yep.
okay. No, I have no idea. I'm not a
seen the Muppet Show?
Dude, my house 40 years old when the Muppets came along. You know, Christ. I didn't watch it, and I didn't have kids at home to watch it. So no,
I'm 48 years old, and I would, and I still,
Yeah, me too.
You know,
I did not grow up with the Muppets.
Well, okay, that's
like I said. By the time Muppets came out, my wife and I got divorced, and my kids went with her. So I didn't have any reason to watch the Muppets.
You were lucky.
I was trying to think of the Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Fraggle Rock on HBO. Yep.
Yeah, but my kids were still at home and Fraggle Rock was on. You know,
Yep.
so we'd all sit around and watch Fraggle Rock, and I got a kick out of it. But by the time the Muppets were around, the kids were gone, and so
Yeah,
I was an adult. I was the adult and the child in the room, and so yeah, a lot of that. I know of the Muppets and Jim Henson and all that, but I don't. Man.
Well, at least you didn't have to endure the purple dinosaur.
Oh God, I heard enough about him. No, I'm more of a Cookie Monster guy, to be honest with you.
Oh, I love Sesame Street. And you know what? My first memory.
Right, I watched Sesame Street
my
too.
grandma making me, because my grandma was a pastry chef, and my first memory of a birthday cake was of Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody that walks around going Cookie,
Yeah.
they're number one on my list.
Yep.
I
grew up with the Muppet Show. I loved the Muppet Show. Statler and Waldorf were freaking awesome.
I'll have to look it up just for just for fun, because
Waldorf,
I don't know any of them up. I don't
Shout out to Rashad McGinnis. He sat there today on Twitter, and they asked a question, and I think it was CBS Sport on Twitter. It was like, "What's the most underrated player, or the player?" And then he gives a big old. He puts a tweet or a meme out of Grover, the Grover.
Oh yes,
yes. I love that. I wanted to say, I was like, if I can find that, I'm going to use that for Grover, for an answer for Grover every time. I was like, that was awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks all for being here. As usual, have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be good.